No intro. Just gonna get right into it. No intro whatsoever. We're getting right into it. We're going straight forward. That was pretty loud. All right, do. We're gonna change that though because oh man, this is really good. Holy shit. I like this one. Let me get everything set up and please just work the way I want it to be. I don't know what it is about my internet today, but it's actually just pretty darn bad. Let me get my sorry behind into gear. What is this doing down here? Gosh darn, man. This is what happens when everything shuts down and you can't get everything up at the... Wait, what? There we go. Dang, man. Why is that still there? I don't... Oh, you know what it was? Get rid of that. All right. Yep. Everything was all messed the hell up. Give me 1 second and I can get everything going here. Streaming right now. Hey, I'm streaming. All right, so I am streaming. What are we streaming today? Well, I was thinking, obviously there's going to be a lot of Final Fantasy to it, but there was a game that just came out. I don't think the YouTube's has the game, its game's title, so I really can't say anything about it, but discard that. Don't know why that is. I am going to post on Twitter. So, streaming pretty late. Why not drop on by? All right, I think everything is good to go. I think All Saints Wake is probably going now. Some people are probably expecting a scary game. I don't really do scary games. That's just not my thing. Someone popping the Living Dead is what scares me the most. Yeah, you know what scares me is the fact that Living Dead is an actual ability. That's what scares me. It kind of sucks. I do want to talk about that though. I want to talk about kind of just like the faults of what like there's a lot of things I wish the Dark Knight would change. There's a lot. But how you doing, Sanic? What's up? Oh, give me a second, actually. Give me a second. I'm gonna check on my cat. Make sure he didn't rip anything up again. Good. Oh my goodness, why is this window open? Put oil on this thing. Alright, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? We got a lot of things to discuss. Got a lot of things to discuss, especially with what's going on. I got forwarded a video made by a Xenosis Vex, sorry, I was about to say Rex. If you guys don't know who Vex is, he's a big-time Final Fantasy XIV streamer who's really good at raiding. He's really good at optimizing tanks in particular, but he is really good at raiding. He talked about basically all the tanks, but he had a problem with two, which are his two favorites, the Dark Knight and the Gunbreaker. Now, I'm not as good as him, and I don't think I have that much expertise in terms of like how to raid. There are a lot of things I do agree with when it comes to Vex and his rants. I will honestly say, right here, right now, when we get into it, and maybe I'll just take this out and make this a video by itself, and you guys just get to be part of that. I have a huge problem with how the Dark Knight is handled. A huge problem. Now, as far as the tanks goes, they're all chilling. They're all looking fine, right? They're all good. Okay, I still don't understand why I'm still lagging with that. I have no idea. There's a bit of lag. You guys probably can't see it, but there's a bit of lag there. I'm thinking it's probably something going on with my display, maybe? Maybe it's this? No? Does it have to be windowed? Is that the issue? No, we're not doing a window. Hell no. Hell no. Hell the hell no. Not really too sure. Oh, you know what? What if I just made it 100 H? Oh, Jesus! Why is it like that? Let's just turn that back. I don't even. Jesus Christ! I do apologize for the lag. Then all the frame rate dropping and stuff. I have no idea why that happens. But let's talk about this for a second. I asked Dark Knight and Prey about the changes, and he unloaded on me. I was like it was like a therapy section for him, and I'm doing fine. So Dark Knight went from edgy depression to just depression. God damn it! All right, let me say something here. It has to be the frame rate going through here. I gotta find a way to make this better for you guys. I don't like it the way it is when it comes to this frame rate. This frame rate is horrendous. It's absolutely bad bonkers. So I want to. Does it matter if it's in window? Let's check. Wow. It's so that's inward lag. That wasn't the screen. Okay, so the windowed mode is actually a lot better. The windowed mode is a fuck ton better. Okay, we're gonna have to do windowed mode because this is absolutely insane. Jesus, man, Jesus. Let's try this again. Okay, that's absolutely insane. I didn't think windowed mode would be the saving grace for this. Oh man, let me just take this out. Why is this here? There we go. Saving grace. Oh, you know what it is? The bottom is the windowed part that can't be windowed. So here's what we're going to do. Let me... I'm very surprised it did that. Okay, all right, let's talk about this, and I'm gonna throw on, hopefully I can, oh my god, that's what happens when you go off of windowed mode. Oh my goodness, so that's what happens when you go off of windowed mode. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Full screen. Borderless. Jesus Christ, dude. Alright, change up the music here. And... okay. No, that's wrong. We need good music. I don't know why that came on. Where'd that come from? Okay. Alright, I am going to be taking this off of YouTube, though. I am going to be taking this off from YouTube, so... Oh, man. You saw that? You saw that frame rate dip? You see that? You see, that's what I'm trying to get rid of. This frame rate dip is all because it's in borderless window mode. And even if I put it in full screen mode, right? I put it on full screen mode, and I try to do it. Still bad. Still bad. Look at this. I don't know why it does this, man. But if I go into windowed mode, it'll be fine. How about full screen 150 HD? How about that? Guess that works a little bit. Nah, still some frame rate dips. Okay, so I do have a little bit of something that I want to show. They have the media tour stuff. and I was able to get them as well, probably as good as they could possibly be. So I'm gonna show it to you guys now. All right, so this is information based on an in-development build of Endwalker, right? It's subject to change, but at the very least, we're looking at like after Mediator. So this is after the leaks, meaning there's more information here than they are from other people trying to do that leak shit. Can we all agree to one thing here when it comes to the Dark Knight? Can we all agree that Living Dead needs to change? It needs to change. Living Dead needs to change. It does not need to be this. Living Dead is the worst invuln out of all the tanks. It is the worst invuln out of all tanks. A lot of people will say that it has a duration of 20 seconds. That is very situational. It could be 11, 12, 13, 14 seconds, right? But it's still the worst invuln in the game. And I was just talking to a friend, and if there's anything that they need to change, it is the Living Dead. I don't know why the Living Dead is what it is, and I think it's more or less the thematics of it rather than the functionality. Even in PvE dungeons and PvE situations, the Living Dead is kind of bad. It's just a really horrible invuln, and I wish they would change that. That is the one move that needs the biggest change, if anything at all, within this entire game. Within all tanks, the Dark Knight has a pretty good kit. Hasn't really changed in Endwalker. It's not so different. But when it comes right down to it, right, it lacks some substance within its own kit. For one thing, it has pretty much no real good self-sustain. It has Abyssal Drain and Soul Eater. You got Abyssal Drain that does base 200, and you got Soul Eater that does base 300. Now, you may be able to get Soul Eater off way more, but 300 is not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. I believe Gunbreaker, I have Gunbreaker here. I believe Gunbreaker is 250 heal potency, right? As combo, where is it? 200. It has 200, but it comes with a shield, and that shield can be counted on to other things, such as, my god, I hate it when it does this, Heart of Stone, which is going to get an upgrade to Heart of Corundum, which is quite amazing by itself. Like, it's amazing by itself, but it's even more amazing when you have Brutal Shell on it, and it's just that good. And even on top of that, where is it? I'm looking for it. It's not a cartridge draw. Yeah, it was there the whole time. Aurora is a regen, and it has 2 charges on it. You can just it off, like you could pop it off whenever you want. Living Dead sucks at first. I thought people were memeing. I still haven't played Dark Knight, but when I read the ability and understood what has to be done to not die, what the fuck, healer is gonna mad. I'm gonna be so. I think Gunbreaker still has the what the fuck, what's going on? Why are you doing this to me tank when it comes to the healer? Because Super Bolide literally reduces your HP down to 1, but if you're gonna die anyway and you have like 10 health left, you're gonna do that anyway. You're gonna pull off Super Bolide, and it doesn't matter how much health, that does not take away from the fact that you're still going to be impervious to most attacks. You're basically invincible. And the only other invuln in this game that really kind of suffers is Home Gang, and Home Gang is not even that bad because You can't, like, you can't go under 1, right? But at the same time, you could still be healed. You could still get, like, you just can't go under 1, but you can still be healed. You can still get barriers. You can still build up that HP, right? And let me just tell you that 10 seconds that it has now is pretty darn good for a home gang. That's pretty good. And like, for what it has for 240, 10, like, it's a 240 recast time for a duration of 10. It's pretty good. And Paladin just has the best one. Hollow Ground is just impervious for 10 seconds. And yeah, it has a long recast time, but you're impervious to 10, like, nothing to be sacrificed. You just have the longest cast time, recast time. Yo, but that's home gang though. Home gang is still like a worrisome invul, but at the very least, you don't die. You don't die. Living Dead is absolutely the worst. I don't care how thematic Living Dead is for Dark Knight. This absolutely has to change. We've been dealing with this for 8 years. 8 years. Living Dead sucks. Living Dead sucks. Living Dead is absolutely the worst thing ever. I don't know why they don't change it. I don't know why they think that this is actually a good thing. The situation that comes with it doesn't make them impervious to damage. They have to be healed for the full HP number through healing. Not that they have to reach 100% of their health. That's outrageous. They just have to be healed for their total number of health that they have, and even still, that could be kind of tough for a healer who's not ready for that situation. I think they should change this. Not gonna lie, I can't wait to pop Super Bolide after pulling 10 enemies. Better make a macro to warn my future healer. You like to pull the wool under their eyes, don't you? Like, you like to really put them on their toes. Healers are gonna be, they're gonna recognize your name, and they're gonna be like, should we block this guy? What I don't understand is why they think that this is a comfortable spot for Dark Knight in particular. This is not actually very good. And yes, I'm gonna complain about about Living Dead. No one can tell me that Living Dead is actually a good invul. No one can tell me that. It's not good. It's actually bad. Someone once told me, oh, it's a 20-second invul, and it's not. it's a situational. That's situational. It could be a 15-second invul. If you think about it, it could be an 11-second invuln. It could be a 12-second invuln, an 18.5-second invuln. It still sucks. So yeah, Living Dead still the same? Absolutely, I have to say it. Living Dead is garbage and should be changed. My friend thinks they're going to change the ability by the time Endwalker comes out, but I was like, I don't know, man. That ability has been here a while, yeah. I'm going to say this right now. Yoshi P, I'm sorry. Living Dead sucks. It sucks. If I ever get a chance to interview Yoshi P, I'm like, so I know you had this entire plan for tanks, right? And I understand where you're trying to go with this. However, for the Dark Knight in particular, have you ever thought about changing its invuln? Nobody likes it. Nobody really likes it. Nobody likes Living Dead. It sucks. Thoughts on Paladin? Paladin's in a really good spot. Paladin is absolutely in a very good spot. I still think, however, they should change Divine Veil. Divine Veil is good, but it could be so much better. What do I mean by that? When they pop Divine Veil, right? It's hard to see that they put it on. It's really hard to see because the animation for Divine Veil is very hard to see, especially in a bright, flashy fucking game like Final Fantasy XIV. It's really hard to see Divine Veil. So they could change that so that if they have Divine Veil on, they have a halo, like a big halo over their head, so the healers will know, oh, they popped Divine Veil. so that they can heal them, and then the effects that come off from Paladin's Divine Veil can spread throughout the party, right? Because other than that, they're gonna have a macro saying like, hey guys, I put on Divine Veil. Also, I think Divine Veil should have an effect for the tank that is beneficial for them, like a mitigation, maybe a region or something, and when they get healed, that goes off, that pops off of them. They won't have that anymore, but the effects that it has right now, you know, prevent damage up to 10% and restore target party member. Like one thing for sure, that's fine where it is 400 and they have a barrier, so that's fine how it is. But I think a paladin should have a benefit from when they put on Divine Veil, they have some sort of beneficial stat, or maybe they have a barrier or cooldown. I think Divine Veil needs to be changed. Holy Sheltron is really good. Intervention is really good. There's nothing really bad about Paladin. They are really in a good spot. Clemency got a D, it got a nerf from 12 to 1k. Hold on, let me do something here. What the hell? What the? Jesus Christ. Okay, there we go. As someone, ooh. Yeah, I was watching CoffeeZilla. Sorry, guys. As someone who has a paladin as their main, still level 62, it's been a safe tank for me. The changes sound nice. The changes, I will tell you right now that the changes are in the advantage for paladin. Delivers an attack target to all nearby with a potency of 300 for the first enemy and 50 less. I forgot about this. And it restores MP. So this is an instant damage to all. This is an instant damage to all. They just get a random AoE. It's pretty good. 300, it's pretty good. The only hits that they really got is like Confiteor, but Confiteor is now a 4-hit combo on your Requiescat, right? The only thing I could really say is that while under Requiescat, right? So deals unexpected damage, can only be done under Requiescat, and then you go into Blades of Faith, Blade of Truth, and then Blade of Valor. Now, I think there was one. Was there one that says that it pops off of Requiescat? No, they might have taken that off. I thought I saw that. But if you look up at this damage and then see that, you know, Requiescat is still on, it's absolutely, it still does, you know, the amount of damage, if not a little bit more than how Confiteor was. Hey, Lilith. The Confiteor dopamine. I like the look of the flow for warrior, but man, paladin just has it beat in all areas. It has it beat in terms of, I would say, party comp, versatility, heals. It's a lot. I don't know about damage. Let's look at warrior real quick. So warrior is still, it's still looking the way it is. Honestly, I think warrior should do like the most damage out of all the tanks. I know Gunbreaker exists, and that could, like, it's hard to tell or hard to say which one should do the most damage. Honestly, I'm just used to like the old style warrior where they did the most damage. But if anything, the warrior should have like the best self-sustain. And from what it looks like, it will have something more of a self-sustain now, because not only that, like, creates a barrier, absorbs damage, total of 15% of HP, but now they have Bloodwetting, which is basically just Nascent Flash, and Nascent Flash it's still to yourself. So they have Nascent Flash and Bloodwetting. And I think Nascent Flash got a bit of a nerf because it's 400 base cure potency, and it restores each weapon skill instead of like a successful hit. Like, yeah, so it's got a bit of a nerf, but it's still good. Nation Flash is still good, and then you got Bloodwetting. Plus, both of which are 25-second recast. They still have Equilibrium, which Equilibrium is pretty okay. It's pretty good. This is still 10 seconds. Honestly, I think Thrill of Battle should be buffed. Who wants to play a Paladin using the lights? I mean, that Fell Cleave, though. It's more than just the Fell Cleave. The Fell Cleave, you know, it's still good, but it's only one piece of the gigantic murder pie that they can give you. One of the things that I love is that Onslaught is off the gauge, and it's now just charges, which kind of makes their gauge kind of irrelevant in its own way, because what you're using your gauge for now is, like, you know, Upheaval. Actually, Upheaval doesn't even use the gauge anymore, does it? No, it doesn't. They took Upheaval off the gauge from what I could see, because it doesn't have a cost for that. Decimate's still on there. Fell Cleave is still on there. Okay, no. Everything, like, there's only a few. They took Upheaval off and they took Onslaught off. Okay, so no. The Beast Gauge is probably just there to regulate its big, you know, big ol' attacks. I'm pretty sure its self-sustain has a bit, like, big higher rend. Let me see. Delivers a critical direct attack to all enemies, 700 first, 70. Oh, that fall off is pretty bad. 70% less for all remaining enemies. That's, I don't know about that, Chief. I mean, hey, you could still RP as a warrior. I don't know much about warrior. I plan on playing it next. After Scholar? Onslaught is much better that way still. Onslaught is still better with it being on charge, yeah. Because it didn't make any sense for it to be on gauge at all. And I to this day wonder why they did it in the first place. The blood gauge is only still there to regulate its more damaging abilities. So now that we have, what was it, Primal Rend, is that called? Yeah, now that we have Primal, now that they have Primal Rend, which is basically another big ol' attack. Because they have Primal Rend that coincides with, like, Inner Chaos, and Inner Chaos, whoo! Because you have Infuriate, and let me see, Infuriate's on charges now. On a charge now. And its duration is 30 seconds. Holy crap. Increase, and it grants Nascent Chaos, so it's not bad. It's not bad. I like that Primal Rend is a gap closer. Primal Rend, is it a gap closer? Let me check. Yes, it is. It looks like you jump. It's like the range is 20%, but it's like, I don't know if it's that big of a... I don't know if it's that big. Yeah, no, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You flip over to him. Dark Knight, less changes because darkness is already perfect. I disagree with you on that one. Yeah, that bothered me in Shadowbringers. I disagree on that one, cause to be honest, even though the Dark Knight looks pretty good, you know, it's pretty all right. This is an underwhelming change for Endwalker. It's underwhelming. Like, nothing much has changed. We get Shadowbringers, we get Salt and Darkness, and we still have the abysmal Abyssal Drain. It's still just 200 cure potency, and it's not like each and every hit, and it's 60-second recast. It's plus 150. It's still hard. It's still bad. Abyssal Drain is still bad. Like, this makes me want to ask, like, when they looked at Dark Knight, did they really think that this was okay? So, on about Delirium, since you're talking about it, Delirium actually kind of gotten a nerf. And hear me out. Here's why I'm saying it kind of gotten a nerf. So Delirium is now a instant recast time 60 second, but you can now, it's like it's a recast time for 60 second, and there's no charge on it. It's just a recast for 60 seconds, but it grants you 3 stacks of Delirium, and each stack allows for an execution of Quietus and Bloodspiller. I want to show you this. I want to show you guys this. So we're going to go to Bloodspiller. Bloodspiller is still 500, right? And you have Dark Arts on. But Bloodspiller is now subjected to 3 instead of 5. And that's actually DPS down. Infuriate has always been on charges. You get 2. Have they increased them? So Infuriate, there's an, oh my goodness, please change. Infuriate, if we're going to talk about the beast gauge down here, yes, it's always been this way, and it's still good in this way. That's why I'm saying that Warrior is looking pretty okay. I think they got also a benefit from this because they have, I think they have a, you know, I think they have like a regulated self-sustain now. The biggest thing I would say is probably Bloodwetting. Bloodwetting is probably like one of the biggest things because of just like restores HP with each weapon skill successfully delivered. It's a 25-second recast time. It's not a charge. Like, and it reduces damage taken by 10%. And I mean, it only lasts for 8 seconds. Our additional effects: stem the flow, reduce damage by 10 more seconds. Additional effects: stem the tide, creates a barrier around self that absorbs damage equivalent to the heal of 400 potency. And it shares a recast time for Nascent Flash. So, you know, you're either using Bloodwetting or Nascent Flash, right? For aggressiveness, for aggressive self-sustain, you would use Bloodwetting. For just sustaining yourself and having a barrier, you would use Nascent Flash. And I guess you want to be nice to somebody, I don't know. You're like, hey, take this barrier, don't die. Saw subject to change. Hope Reaper is good. Reaper will stay the same. I'm pretty sure that'll be fine. I like that they fixed Delirium, they maybe adjusted blood weapons the same. Agreed, we need to do more darkness. Inner Release gives you 10 seconds for crit and direct hit. Infuriate gives you 2 hits of at critical damage. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think Inner Release being the way it is fine. I think the biggest thing is kind of like what's going on with here with the Onslaught and how that's not on the gauge anymore. I do like Primal Rend. It's just basically a giant I hate you attack. You know? If you use Bloodwetting for all of this, because you can use Bloodwetting when you're going through your when you're going through all this, when you have to go through all this, and I'm talking about when you go through like your Fell Cleaves and your Infuriates, right? And you're granted Nascent Chaos, right? You're going through all this just to get to your Primal Rend. I think, along with Bloodwetting, if you do this right and you have that window, bro, I don't think you're gonna die. I don't think you're gonna die. The only thing I could see that's holding things back is just the 400 cure potency. Like, It's just base 400 cure potency. I don't... Honestly, I think this is okay. Or I think Bloodwetting is actually pretty good. And that window for Bloodwetting is going to give a lot of... I think it's going to give a lot of self-sustain. Or a good amount of self-sustain for Warrior. So I think Warrior's in a good spot. I would also say that Gunbreaker is also okay, if not in a good spot as well. I think Gunbreaker is in a good spot. Damage or healing? I think nonetheless, unless you're focusing simply on healing, I think Warrior is going to output more, you know, regular damage. I have a feeling it's going to output more regular damage. I hope to see a lot more self-sustain from it. I'm wrong about Delirium. And in what way am I wrong about Delirium? So Delirium grants a stack of... Okay, Delirium grants a stack, right? Of Delirium. 3 stacks. Allowing Bloodspiller or Quietus, right? Quietus and Bloodspiller. Let's look at Bloodspiller. So Bloodspiller is still at a potency. So it's at a potency of 500 right now. Let me take a look at the potency for where it is right now. 600. So we lose potency on Bloodspiller. And current Delirium has half the cooldown charge. So let me see. Delirium's at 90 seconds, which I would say that's pretty good. That means one more. Well, let's actually take account for this. So let's do 2 Deliriums, right? In 90 seconds. That's 180 seconds. So, and now we have the new potency aren't nerfed because new scale damage values. We'll have to see about that. New potencies aren't a nerf because new scale damage values. Well, let's take a look at this. Okay. So, Delirium, you lose potency, but you get more attempts of Bloodspiller. Let me check that. Delirium, do that times 2. That's 180 seconds. Let me see. I thought it was... you thought it was 120 seconds for some reason. No, it's 90 seconds. And why is it doing this? Where's my calculator? There it is. Okay, so 90 seconds, that's 180. 60 seconds. Okay, let's see. 60 seconds, it needs 3 to reach 180, right? Okay, so that means it does 9 blood spillers, right? That's 9 blood spillers. And if you are effective in Dark Knight for 90 seconds for 180, that's 180 seconds, right? 180 seconds. That's, if you can get 5, that's 10 blood spillers. So you're losing a blood spiller. You're actually losing a blood spiller. So, Pilots, you don't gain a blood spiller. You actually lose a blood spiller. Yeah, the potency is something. Potency does matter in its own way because they're changing how potency works in the game. Think about it. You have the blood gauge and you get charges. Those 2 traits give you attempts. So here, let me show you again. If it could just open the fucking window. Let me show you again. Where is it? It was up here. So delirium, 3 stacks. So you can do 3 blood spillers within that 60 seconds, right? Now, we're gonna times this by 3, which gets you 180, right? Within that window, you should also be in dark side, and 2 attempts from the blood gauge, then you get 3 charges. That's 5 all together. You gain, wait, you gain? You have 500 potency on salt and earth every 15 seconds. That's true. You do get that. You do get that. But we're talking about delirium. We're talking about delirium. You said you gain 2 attempts from blood gauge, then you gain 3 charges. That's 5 altogether. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Because the 3 stacks in the blood, if you have enough blood, that's what you're saying? So, delirium, 3 blood spillers, then the 2 blood spillers from blood, which is 50 and 50, so that's 5 outside of delirium. Okay, and within 2. Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. You gain it from new thingies. Wait, hold on. Let me check something. I want to check something. Oh man, I'm gonna hate this full screen shit. I want to check something. I think you would probably do, like, because your Living Shadow is coming out, which is basically a glorified DPS. And imagine your Shadow is out at the same time. Let me check something here. So I'm gonna throw this on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get 5 from that. So you get 5 from this delirium that we have already. Now, I can only imagine if you have 2 more, which makes it 6 and 7. And that delirium comes back. Okay. So you get 1 more. So you get 1 additional one. That's what you said, right? You said you gain 2 attempts. So wait, no, you get 2. Yeah, you do, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. However, no, you still need to use Living Shadow. Living Shadow is 120, so you're actually going to be using 50 of your blood. Living Shadow is 120, so take 1 from that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, because you have your Living Shadow out at that time. The next time you hit 60 seconds, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the next time is 1, 2, 3, 4, because Living Shadow should be out already. You don't want to spend your entire time on delirium? You have more spells to manage too? So you have, wait, what do you mean? You have more spells to manage too. So you don't even want to spend your entire time on delirium? Well, when delirium comes out, you want to do your blood spillers. And that's basically like the point of delirium at this point, right? So, and no matter what, you're going to spend 30 seconds of delirium anyway. But the biggest thing is the recast time. So you have to do, you're going to do 2 living shadows, 4, which is 8 plus 5, which is 13. Pull living shadow before delirium. That way you can max it out. Yeah, I know that. I didn't even have blood. My blood wasn't even all the way up. So, because what you really want to do, you just want to throw this on, and then one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then so you have 6. So you honestly have 6. So you honestly have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have an extra one, so that's 6. You're not reliant on delirium anymore? Well, you're right about that. You're not totally reliant on delirium, but you're still, I mean, you have to stay in dark side. You have to stay in dark side. Dark side is still going to have to be managed to be that way, and that's easy. That's easy to manage. You literally only have one button to do that, and then you still have your MP. So that's easier to manage. You want to stay in dark side. That's more important than delirium, because delirium doesn't really like raise your potency or anything. It just gives you access to like free resources. And this is 90 seconds, so truthfully, you would get like maybe 12. So with Living Shadow, you're only getting really like 12 in 180 seconds. Whereas when you make it a stack and it's 60 seconds plus the 2, which is 5, 14, 13, maybe. I would say 13 because of Living Shadow. You have to use it twice. You have other skills compared to Shadowbringers, or yeah, the ability is called Shadowbringer, isn't it? I hate I hate that it didn't come out at the end of Shadowbringers, and yet we get an ability called Shadowbringers at the end of Endwalker. That's so weird. That will even out the less delirium spam. I mean, nonetheless, you're still going to be spamming. Wait, no, not the ability. Oh, well. Oh, okay, let me see. Well, I don't mean, yeah, you should do other things, but after your delirium, you have more other abilities compared to Shadowbringers. Well, here's the thing. Let me get to a point here, because when you start out has more abilities after you're spamming. So I envision when you are at the end of Endwalker, the 2 things that you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing Salted Earth so that you can do Salt and Darkness. You're not going to be doing that in your... I mean, there is a possibility you're going to be doing that in the midst of your delirium because of the GCD that comes with Bloodspiller. I can envision that. You're probably going to be doing Edge of Shadow, then maybe Plunge. Edge of Shadow, or Plunge and then Carve and Spit. Sorry. Edge, Abyssal, Salt. Edge, Salt, Salt and Darkness. I can envision that. Because in the beginning, for Shadow, if you're going to use Shadowbringer, I would envision you use Blood Weapon, Hard, Edge, Shadowbringer. Then do Siphon to get MP back. Edge will go in through again. And I imagine either you would choose, because at that point, I think you would have Living Shadow, or you use Shadowbringer. Best thing to get to your attribute. The best thing is to get your attributes right, so that when you're just doing regular attacks, your attacks are fulfilling. I hate fighting and not seeing those explanation points. So, what was it that Xenosis said when he was talking about Dark Knight? Because I know he explained it pretty much carefully. I mean, overall, you shouldn't lose potency. Oh no, you're gonna gain potency. You're going to gain potency overall. Overall, you're going to gain potency. Plus less cooldowns. You're gonna gain potency, but less cooldowns. I would say that's the positive on the Delirium, so that you can do the 3 again. But I know for sure you're going to be using 1 Living Dead. So that's 1 of your bloods gone. And then you have an extra 4 Blood Spiller. I think the only thing that you will gain from like the 180 seconds, I will wait. No, hold on. Did Living Shadow change its recast time, or is that the same? Let me see. 120. I'm gonna check. I want to check. Does Living Shadow have different recast? Where is it? That's right here. No, it's still 120. That's peculiar. So that's still 120. But Living Shadow does gain in G. Also, it does gain because of Shadowbringers. Which is weird. It's like once you get Shadowbringers, it gets 450. Honestly, they should just turn this into like some sort of they should honestly just turn this into a dot. I'm sorry, it really is a very showy dot. That's all the Living Shadow is. Still gotta wait for Shadowbringers to come back. So I mean, overall, you're still going to be doing Shadowbringers in the midst of your Delirium, because it's going to come back every 60 seconds, and there's no way you're not going to be using it. I think, let me look up something, because I know Xenosis, he made a video on it. It's the Reaper Void Scent. Living Shadow is a very showy dot. It is. It's a very showy. I'm sorry to say it's a very showy dot. It's incredibly showy. Tell me it's not a showy dot. Tell me it's not a very showy dot. But you know what? We'll let an expert explain it. What the fuck? What is that? He even has a tank talk. Okay, that was 2 months ago. 1 month ago. Type of tank busters. Paladin changes. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go to his channel. I don't even understand what his logo is. All right. He rants about Dark Knight for 20 seconds. If it's not your bag, if you don't like,
the fucking developer was like, oh,
oh Jesus Christ, he begins with a cuss. Anyway, if you guys don't like cussing, I'm sorry. So notice his cuss is like a sailor. But this is his thoughts at the very least. And this guy plays Dark Knight all the time.
oh, guys, get this. Salt. Got the first thing, man. This bullshit right here, unleash, is a spell that needs to be changed to a weapon skill. Same thing for this thing here. See this? This needs to be a weapon skill. You know why? Because the recast is 250. This is garbage. This should be based off your skill speed. Now, since we're on the topic of unmend, what is this shit? This right here, enhanced unmend, reduces recast time of plunge by 5 seconds.
He's looking at... Okay, so he's looking at the changes beforehand. Hold on. All those things will likely be overthrown by changes, adjustments anyway, so I'm not really concerned at all. Let me see something here. Has any of these changes actually changed? Because he said that was a spell. But I don't know if that was like... Which one did he say was a spell? Okay, Unleash is still a spell. He said he had a problem with that. And Unmend, he said that was also a spell. I mean, that's what they were. They're spells, right? They're instances. I wonder why he has, like, a problem with them being a spell. Is that a real problem?
First thing, man. This bullshit right here, unleash, is a spell that needs to be changed to a weapon skill. Same thing for this thing here. See this? This needs to be a weapon skill. You know why? Because the recast is 250. This is garbage. This should be based off your skill speed. Now, since...
Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see. I see. But then again, like, are you really gonna be using Unmend and Unleash like that? That's my question. Are you gonna go into a raid or into a dungeon and then, like, Unleash you're gonna be using 1,000 times on mobs, but you're not gonna use it on a boss, are you? And I get Unleash in that case, but not Unmend, really. And no, he gets it.
We're on the topic
he gets
of
it. Philly's like,
what
if there's a person who plays Dark Knight and understands it the most, it's this guy right here. He pretty much knows what he knows.
This right here, enhanced unmend, reduces recast time of plunge by
so everything that was put out in the leak is still the same?
5 seconds. So let me tell you guys something, all right? This is the second time they've tried to do this shit. For those of you that don't know.
Okay, so everything is subject to change, but try to have at least an open mind. Hear him out. He's gonna cuss like a sailor, and I do apologize. But let's see what he's...
Back in the day, Unleash used to cost mana, and every time you would use Unmend, there was like a 30% chance or something that the next Unleash wouldn't cost any mana. That trait was useless then, as this trait...
It doesn't bother me while playing at all, to be honest. Unleash will not break your combo anymore, and you'll only use it on downtime anyway. I mean, Unleash, you're only going to use it just to keep mitigation, or no, sorry, to keep aggression in mobs. You're not going to be using it on a single target at all. You shouldn't be using Unleash on a single target at all. That's kind of like the thing. I think Unleash really isn't, like, it being a spell isn't that bad. He probably wants it to be faster.
It is going to be useless now. Here's the thing about this trait. You're never going to purposely use this. You're only going to use Unmend in situations where you would use Unmend anyway without this trait. No one is going to say to themselves,
when you run out of range, are you using Unleash? I mean, Unmend, sure. Yeah, but if you are a person who wants to play a Dark Knight, don't you want to play your Dark Knight and not have to be like, all right, it'll be better if I use Gunbreaker? I mean, okay, for the most part, when you're like running away from, say, a raid boss or something like that, I don't think you're going to be using Unleash. I honestly don't think you're going to be using Unleash. You'll probably be using Unmend over Unleash. Because at that point, you're running away from the boss. You still have, like, I think you still have range to hit it with one more attack. I don't typically see people use Unleash in that situation. I usually see them using it for mobs. I don't think I've ever seen like somebody just like pull out an Unleash typically when going against a single boss. If there were like things around them, yeah, I typically see an Unmend, but that's kind of my experience when I see it. That's just my experience. If you've seen people use Unleash, then you know that's fine, but I've typically seen people just use Unmend. And that's what I think. But either other way, it kind of just goes into his argument, because he says he wants it to be weapon skills, and weapon skills are just like, you know, it gets a little faster with that. Not always in Deliverum, you have to run behind the barrier far away, for example. Yeah, then it's probably down to experience. I've not seen Unmend just I mean Amend though. Oh, Unmend though, yeah. You only use AoE combos? Shut up.
Oh man, I gotta use 2 Unmends here to get a plunge off. I'm not a fan of this. Like, anytime you would use Unmend, with or without this trait, you would use it anyway, right? You're not gonna purposely use Unmend next to the fucking boss. You know what I'm saying? And while we're here, let's talk about this trait.
And there's a point in that. There's a way for that to help. Because if you do have to run away from the boss and you do use Unmend, and your plunge comes a little closer, you can get to the boss like faster as a Dark Knight. That is the only thing I can see that makes it better. I'm on the phone. It's like, oh, dropped you a like, brother. I'm on the phone. Thank you, man. I thought you said you dropped you like a brother, man. Oh my god. Dropped me. He dropped me, guys. But what? Oh, shoot me on the foot. What is that?
Because this trait's fucking garbage too.
What?
This just seems so fucking lazy. I guess this one too, but you know, whatever. Both of them are so lazy. Why does it need to be a trait that the potency is increased to 300? Like, who gives a shit? That seems like a system thing, right? This doesn't need to be a trait. Just at level 88, just have it happen automatically. It doesn't matter for older ultimates. Who gives a shit about older ultimates? If they cared about balance in older ultimates, then why the fuck does Gunbreaker deal as much damage as a DPS? This...
Oh, damn. That's true. I don't argue with that, Lilith. I don't argue with that.
Just isn't expansion worthy stuff, in my opinion. Let me ask you guys a question. Let's say, for instance, that they completely deleted these 2 traits and they just added them without telling people. They just added them. Do you think anybody would give a flying fuck? Because I don't. I don't think anybody would care if they just deleted these and just added them in like a separate system. And here's another thing that I find kind of...
Well, hello, people. We're watching Vex talking about Dark Knight. There's going to be people who disagree with him, and there are going to be people who will agree with him.
Dumb is this enhanced living shadow here. It says upgrades flood of shadow executed by your simulacrum to Shadowbringer. Shouldn't that just be assumed? Was there anybody that thought, hey, the shadow that I summon is not going to do the level 90 abilities, it's going to be like a level...
Well, don't take his anger as like the case in point. Just hear him out for what he explains. It's kind of like taking a critique and just going again. Like, if you have like an argument against them, I would like to hear it.
80 Party Finder Dark Knight, because I'm pretty sure everybody assumed that the Shadow was gonna do all of the abilities, right? Like, as a matter of fact,
he's only angry about Dark Knight. Oh no, he's angry about Gunbreaker too. He's really angry about Gunbreaker too. We could check that one out too.
I wish that you could turn the Shadow off. The Shadow is such a fucking waste of space. All it does is draw your attention, get in the fucking way, and I wish you could turn it.
Okay, so he's talking about the fact that Lilith probably getting angry here, but he's talking about the fact that he doesn't think Living Shadow should be the way it is. It's like so minor. He's thinking on a raid base, I believe. Nozanosis is just angry all the time about tank changes.
It off. Like, how many times have you been like in like combat and you've seen that fucking Shadow and you thought it was a person?
I would honestly say that at this point, people should be used to the Shadow if they're playing in-game content, but that's neither here nor there. The bigger cause for alarm, I would say, is the Red Mage limit break and summoners who don't want to shrink their summons. Or shrink their Bahamut or Phoenix. I don't think you can shrink Phoenix, now that I think about it. Can you shrink Phoenix? I don't think you can shrink Phoenix.
And you like hesitate for a second, like, wait a minute, what the fuck are they doing there? Oh, it's the fucking Shadow. Like, because I've done that quite a bit. You know what? I wish this trait would say you can now turn your...
It still gets you sometime? Okay, fair enough. I'm used to it because I summon the bastard all the time. So I'm like, oh, that there he is. But I get what you mean, because when I was a dancer one time, I was like, I need to buff someone, or not even a dancer. Dancer's a bad explanation. Healer. When I was in Astro, I saw someone just sitting in the middle of the field, right? And we're all like on the edge of the walls. And I'm like clicking him, and I'm like, why can't I click him? I want to rescue him, and it's the Shadow. I'm like, shit. It's like, I need to stream a reaction to your reaction to Zenosis. Well, it wouldn't be a real reaction if I didn't have a cam. It's not a reaction. This is more like an overview. You shrink it client side. Can you shrink Phoenix? I didn't think you could shrink Phoenix. Other players shrink the Bahamut, not the player. Oh, I get it. So you guys shrink the Bahamuts and the Phoenix. That makes a lot of sense.
Your Living Shadow off. Holy shit, that would be so much better. Now that's a good trait. I'd be hyped for that trait.
Still, Red Mage Limit Break is a problem. It blinds the ever-living Christ out of people when it's done. So I vote that if you have any other caster or a melee DPS, please tell them to use the Limit Break before the Red Mage. I have been blinded by them a lot.
All of this shit right here is so underwhelming, man. Is so underwhelming. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Jeez, what
man,
the hell?
Dark Knight got fucked on their traits. They got fucked hard too. It's like they got sentenced to fucking death row, pulled in cell block D, had the sheet thrown up, just absolutely destroyed. So yeah, let's talk about this. I've been talking about this for like years. This right here, blood weapon. Increases blood gauge by 10 and restores MP upon landing weapon skills or spells. The fact that it says or spell shouldn't even be a thing, because nothing the Dark Knight does should be a fucking spell.
I think that is an opinion. That is an opinion that he is having. Nothing against him. That's still an opinion that he is having. I mean, if the Dark Knight is to have a spell, I would rather have like the spells be like honestly, they're Dark Knights, so I think they do deserve spells, but usually their spells are quite instant, which that's what they have, really. I don't know. That's an opinion that he is having.
It's either that or make the spell scale off your skills
I'm just tired of waiting on Endwalker. I want to test it myself. True.
When hitting multiple targets with a single attack. Okay, this is the one ability that needed the stack treatment. Delirium right here. Gains.
Wait. I'm going to say this right now. It did. It did. Only because MP management for Dark Knight can get slow. It can get slow. Right? It can get very slow. And then you're just like, every other time you're using Edge, every other time you're using the Blackest Night. So if you do not manage your MP correctly, it'll be kind of a slog. You're not going to be using Edge as much. I mean, in this case, he wants the charge, probably, for the fact that perhaps he just wants to get MP to do more damage. So I would say that is an opinion that we are having right now.
Okay, this is the one ability that needed the stack treatment. Delirium right here. Gains.
You think it's getting changed very likely? Dark Knight, the trash warrior.
Of delirium. Each stack allowing the execution of Quietus or Blood Spiller. Store an MP. Last 30 seconds. So you get 3 stacks. That is what needs to happen with this shit here. Okay, why is this on a duration? This just was not play tested, man. It just was not fucking play tested. They just didn't give a shit. This is just scuff. This needs to be changed. Okay. Wow, we got fucking 2 awful abilities next to each other. It's time.
This is one thing that I will agree with. I think Dark Mind needs to change to just pure defense, not magical vulnerability, just defense. I really do. I think it just should change either to reduce damage overall by either like 15% or 20%. Like I honestly don't know. Like, a lot of people will say, but like, you know, what about the magical situations? And it's just like, it's not happening all the time. Physical situations happen too. But that, you know, for a 60-second recast time. But that's one boss, Lilith. That's just one boss. That's just Ozma. That's just Ozma. Yeah, like, I honestly think it should just be damage. Not magic vulnerability. It should just be damage. Like, you can even take away the 20%. You can make that 15%. Like, whatever. But I think Dark Mind should change. Honestly.
For the people that are okay with this ability to get off of the copium, all right, it's time. This ability is not very good. Damage-specific types of mitigation are really bad, in my opinion. Reduces magic vulnerability. This should just be reduces damage by, like, I don't know, 15% or
what did I just say?
something. Make it all damage and make it like 15%. This will be so much better if it's all damage and 15%. This will be so fucking good. Just magic is stupid. Okay, now we're talking about this fucking piece.
Okay, we can all agree Living Dead sucks. It's stupid. It's the worst invuln in the game. It should just change. Living Dead is the worst invuln in the game. Bar none. Hands down. It's the worst invuln in the game, and it needs to change.
Piece of shit. This has still remained unchanged. This ability just needs to be changed. Last night I was watching Violent Stream.
They should just be mitigations, all their CDs. You know, I honestly think Paladin has most of that. I think Heart of Light is the same as Dark Mind. Heart of Light is the same as Dark Mind, is it? Oh yeah. It is. Heart of Light is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Heart of Light is exactly the same, 10%, but just magic damage. That needs to change too, actually. That needs to change too. You're right. I'd say Bolide is pretty bad because of the way it's coded, but yeah. I would say Super Bolide has a bit of an edge because once pulled off, once it is done, you're just invincible. Hey, what's up, Marlon? I just don't like Living Dead because it's the only one useless in solo pot D, which is a massive disadvantage. You're not using it in pot D. You're not using Living Dead in pot D. That's not happening. Well, no, you only use it for the level 180 boss. That's about it. to get your 10 seconds of staying alive so that you can die together with the boss, and either you kill it first or you die. And it's stupid. They should, that's the one other thing that they should do, is fix the 180 boss in Pot D and Living Dead. Living Dead is absolutely stupid.
And he was complaining about Living Dead. I think we all complain about Living Dead. Living Dead is just bad. You cannot be healed. You can be healed too soon. It's just bad. Yeah. It also doesn't even provide you with any more time. Like the duration's 10 seconds. Well, Holmgang and Bolide got buffed to 10 seconds and Hollow's been 10 seconds. So like the fact that this is 10 seconds, but wait, oh, Strummer, no, it's not. It's actually 20 because 10 and 10, if you take 10 plus 10, it equals 20 seconds, hyper poggers! Living Dead is actually 20 seconds. People have said that to me before. Here's some...
That is one of the weirdest arguments I have ever gotten. Living Dead is actually 20 seconds. That varies. It can be... I would say it could be 11 seconds. It could be 12 seconds. It could be 13 seconds. Because the effect only works as soon as you hit death. So, yeah, that's a no argument there. Change the end range timer for Behemoth from 15 to 10 would solve all problems, honestly. You know, that would actually solve some problems there. You would still have to do a really stupid, fucked up rotation, but yeah, it would save. It would definitely it would definitely help. I say that I agree with you on that one. You can die on the second. Exactly. It's dumb.
Suggested changes.
It's hyper situational and bam.
The first change should be brace yourself for an enemy onslaught, preventing most attacks from reducing your HP to less than 1. Last 10 seconds. That's the first change I would make. Just make it Holmgang. That's the first and easiest possible change. That's also the least creative, but hey, you know what? It's whatever. Here's like a more creative. Once you enter Walking Dead, you give the Dark Knight 20% incoming healing received. So that means that any type of healing that they receive, it's buffed by 20%. You give them Life Leech. Walking Dead, 10 seconds. This means that regardless if you heal to 100% or not, you will remain in Walking Dead for 10 seconds. So let's say that you heal Walking Dead. You still get the rest of it. What do you mean that's too OP? It's still worse than Holmgang. You
Well, I need to hear that.
Still have to heal it. Here's the thing. Even if you made these changes, this is still arguably worse than Bolide. So, you...
He's saying it right there. It's still arguably worse than Bolide. Because, first of all, what he's saying here, it's like the 20% incoming healing. That's only 20%. So the healer is still going to have to work. Right? A little bit more on the life leech. I would say there has to be a certain advantage, not pure cure potency. It has to be a percentage, right? You think, Lilith, you think that's up? It's not. He's right. It's still arguably worse than Bolide.
You pop this, you die, you're in the grave. When you're in the grave, you get plus 20% incoming healing. All of your abilities heal you for full damage. And then Walking Dead lasts 10 seconds regardless if you die or not.
Life Leech would be cool.
You know, whenever you complete a mechanic, you get that little check mark above your head? You know what? They should do that for Living Dead. Whenever
you're quoting his chat? Is his chat saying that it... Oh, wait. Let me check the chat then. Let me check the chat.
If you die or not. You know, whenever you complete a mechanic...
Hold on. Let me see this chat.
Incoming healing.
I'm not paying attention to his chat, Lilith. I really ain't. Because his chat is funny. Like,
arguably worse
in the wrong way.
So, you pop this.
Wait, hold on.
Incoming healing received. So that means that any type of healing that they receive, it's buffed by 20%. You give them Life Leech. Walking Dead, 10 seconds. This means that regardless if you heal to 100% or not, you will remain in Walking Dead for 10 seconds. So let's say that you heal Walking Dead. You still get the rest of it. What do you mean that's too OP?
Oh, that's a good idea. That's too op.
It's still worse than Holmgang. You still have to heal it. Here's the thing.
I'm going to add on to this. Right? Like, this is a good idea. I think this is a good idea for Living Dead. But if there's one thing I would like to like really add on to this is because you gotta understand you have to die before this to work. You have to die for this to work. But I think that once you hit death like this, I don't like the, sometimes I really don't like the fact that you have to activate it and then die for it to work, because if you activate it and you actually get healed, right, you actually get healed, it was a waste and it sucks. Like there has to be a button to instant condition for this. Like this right here kind of messes me up sometimes. And that's probably only because all the other tanks have, push button instantly in that effect kind of thing.
Even if you made these changes, this is still arguably worse than Bolide.
It's too op. Wait. I saw it. It's too.
Here's the thing.
Where do you say?
Even if you made these changes, this is still.
Someone said it's too op.
Arguably worse than Bolide.
Rubber.
So you pop this, you die, you're in the grave. When you're in the grave, you get plus 20% incoming healing. All of your abilities heal you for full damage.
Also, yeah, sorry, Lilith. I was like really paying attention. What about you don't die, but you get damage down on explode for AoE damage on your teammates if you don't heal it? What, Jesus Christ. What about you don't die, but you get damage down or explode for AoE damage on your teammates? If you don't, that's way worse. Why would you do that? Because what if you don't make it? What if the healer doesn't make it and they do explode? Yeah, that's what.
Damage. And then Walking Dead lasts 10 seconds.
I had to read that again just to be like, wait a minute. Wait, hold on.
You get that little check mark above your head. You know what? They should do that for Living Dead. Whenever you cleanse your Living Dead, it should give you a nice little check mark. So then.
That's a good idea, just to show that, hey, they don't need to be healed no more. Also, even, like, I saw that you said put, like, a fairy link on it, Marlon. If you put a fairy link on it and you still gotta put, like, all that work into healing, it's still a lot of work. It still sucks. It still sucks that the healer has to put in all that work.
Living Dead.
They already have to put a lot of work in Living Dead.
I think that this ability is overhyped as shit, but that does not mean that I do not like it and that I do not think that it's strong. This ability is strong. It does prevent a very high amount of damage, but there's a problem. This right here, MP cost. This should not have an MP cost anymore.
Hold on. Oh no! I saw that happening. I don't know what it is, but every time I switch windows, it's like having a conniption. They have to pay the price. I like that. Punish the healer, not the tank. Punish, but you said the party would get exploded. You'd punish the entire party by having them explode. Controlling potential, I would love that. I would be a Dark Knight. My God. Nobody would like Dark Knights after all that. They would be like, fuck you, Dark Knight. Fuck you. Get out of our party. Your invuln explodes. Yeah, screw that. Get out of the party. And then the Dark Knights will be lonely. They would be lonely forever because nobody wants them because they explode. AoE fixes that issue? How? How when they explode and everyone dies? How?
For those of you that like fucking jack off to this ability, the one really good thing about this is the power that it has. Like, it's a very strong single CD, right? However, it does come at a cost. Look at this broken ass shit. Bloodwetting. Reduces damage taken by 20% for 4 seconds. Also gives them a shield. So prevents 20% damage, plus gives them a shield, plus gives them, you heal yourself 4 times. So it has like 1600 heal potency. And this doesn't cost anything. This ability is absolutely free. So it has damage mitigation. It has a shield, and it also heals you. So this could be used for a tank buster. This could be used for self-sustain. This could also be used to cheese mechanics because it has a built-in shield on it. Now, let's look at the Paladin version. Holy Sheltron blocks incoming attacks, which we're just gonna assume is 20%. So this is 35% for 4 seconds, and then it gives you a hot. This is crazy good. This again is virtually free. Virtually. It doesn't cost any of your damage. Now let's look at Gunbreaker. Heart of Corundum. 30% also gives them Brutal Shell and gives you a fucking XCOG. And for those of you that don't know how much the XCOG heals you for, it heals you for like 20% of your HP.
Doesn't give him Brutal Shell. That is the only correction I have to make. It doesn't give him Brutal Shell. You have to have Brutal Shell already on. That's the only thing I would correct him on. Should I have an MP cost? Because if the shield breaks, it lets you cast your ability. It should restore some MP or heal if it doesn't break. That's one way to help it be better, Calcor. The one thing I would say is that it'll probably be better as a charge. Probably be better as a charge. Not up, but probably be better as a charge. It'll also make sure that you don't like spam it all the way, but MP costs would be much better if it was like the way you said it. You know, if it doesn't break, you get the MP back, hopefully. Like the exact amount of MP back, maybe. Or heal you. I would say get your MP back. Wait, what? I mean, Walking Dead is Doom, basically, so it already has that. Well, Calcor, I think what Lilith is saying is that she wants everyone to explode. My God.
So you get an XCOG for 20%. Plus you get damage reduced by 30%. My point being here is that you understand how powerful this cooldown is, right? We all can agree that this is pretty powerful. We all agree that this is pretty powerful, right? We all agree that this is pretty powerful. For the fucking idiots that were like, well, TBN you can use on another person. Okay, yeah, you can also use this on another person too. It's called Nascent Flash. It's the same fucking shit. It's literally the same shit, except for this you use on a person, Bloodwetting you use on yourself. Okay, and Intervention's the same fucking goddamn way. Yeah, look, it gives you the same thing, and you can buff it. So you can have up to 30%. This gives you a hot, plus gives you damage reduced by 20%. It's possible that this could even be even stronger than Sheltron. My point here is that Holy Sheltron, Bloodwetting, and Heart of Corundum are absolutely free. But on Dark Knight, this shit is not free. This costs you mana. This is part of your DPS. My suggested change for this: you up the cooldown to 25 seconds. You take away the mana cost and you make the shield, I don't know, 15%. For the first 4 seconds, make it give, I don't know, 10% damage reduction. Doesn't this sound way better? Here are 2 major downsides to TBN. 1, its mana cost. And 2, able to use this ability, you have to get 100% value. You have to, or else it's a waste. With every other ability that compares to Blackest Night, you don't have to get 100% value. You can get 50% value, you can get 75% value, you can get 30% value, or you could get 100% value. It doesn't matter. Those are my 2 biggest issues. The fact that this is a 25% shield, it doesn't matter anymore. Going into Endwalker, someone's crutch, like the people that are on copium that this skill is busted when it's not.
It's 25% of their HP, and I see what he means. I see what he means when he says that. Because it's the target's max HP. So if like the target has 30k max HP, right? 25% of that is like what? We're talking about 25% of that. I would say maybe 8K, I think. 8 or 7K. 7.5K. Because we're talking about 30K. Right? So that's 30K on top of, or that's 7 or 8K on top of the 30K that they have. It's that barrier that they have is extra health. So I see what he means, because if we're going into Endwalker and things start hitting hard, the Blackest Night will still be amazing for a tank, but for like healers in DPS, because their HP pool is not as high, and they don't get any kind of extra mitigation. It's up there. It's up there for questioning, is what I see what he's saying. Imagine dooming everyone for the fun because you don't actually need Living Dead. No one would misuse that. The real question is, who isn't using TBN properly? A lot of people, actually. A lot of new people don't use TBN in the best of ways. I've seen TBNs wasted all the time. Also, I want to point out, if it had the damage reduction property, it could it could be even harder to break, making is potential worse. Making its potential worse. Wait. You want to point out that if the damage reduction property, it could be harder to break. That's true. That's true. And I think that's what he's talking about here.
The people that are on copium don't even have that to crutch on anymore. This needs to be changed. Couldn't they just baked oblation and TBN, or am I mistaken? No. The reason why is because you want this to pop. If you have oblation on top of this, it makes it harder to pop. TBN is a stupid cooldown because it's a defensive cooldown that's tied to your damage, and you must gain 100% value out of it.
That's the one thing I will 100% agree. That the fact that TBN is tied to my damage as a Dark Knight is stupid. I don't like that. I've been using TBN for a while, and it sucks when it comes down to like, oh, I wanna also do damage. People say, oh, but it's great because once you get that popped off, you get to use one of your abilities to like. Sometimes it's either or. It's not one or the other. Like, oh, that's definitely going to happen unless you really know. The fact that it's tied to my damage, I think that's actually a problem.
Out of it every time. This is what they need to change. Oblation. I actually don't mind this ability. Do I think it's good? No. Do I think it's bad? No. The thing I like about this ability the most is the way it's designed. I like having a charge time at the same time as having 2 charges. I think this is kind of cool. They might do this in the future. Will this ever be good? Like, you know, will this ever be clutch? Probably not. Sure, in a very, very unique case, maybe one time. Will this ever be bad? No, this will never be bad. This has a lot of usages, so I like that about this ability. The 10%, it's an absolute free 10%, so it's really good. I don't think this ability is gonna shine, but I don't think this ability is bad at all. And I like the design of it. I think that you can use this to potentially save a party member. You can use this for a tank buster.
I would add to that, Oblation is not bad. It's not great, but I think a Dark Knight should gain from that. And since it lacks a lot of sustain, perhaps if like, you know, you put Oblation on somebody, right? If they get hit, maybe a portion of that damage can go to the healer, or can go to the tank or the Dark Knight for a certain amount of heals. Just saying. Maybe if you put it on somebody else, that's what I'm saying. If you put it on yourself, then it's weird. It would be weird.
I think that this will never be bad. I don't think Dark Knight's gonna suck. I think Dark Knight's gonna be fine. I think you're gonna be able to prog on it fine. Dark Knight is still really good, but the problem with all of this is that it's very underwhelming. Let me ask you guys this question. What was the most hype thing about Dark Knight to you? No one has mentioned mine. Some of you said Salt and Darkness. I think the people that said Salted Darkness are on crack. Some of you said the big sword. I dig. But nobody said this. Nobody said
Wait, what?
Some of you said the big sword. I dig. But nobody said this. Nobody said this. 60-second delirium is the most hype thing about Dark Knight, and it's a quality of life. You know why people forgot about this? Because now that I mentioned it, some of you are probably like, oh, you know what? Yeah, when I remember hearing about it, I was ridiculously hyped. This is a quality of life. This is not an expansion-worthy change, and that's a problem. This should have already been in the game. They could have made this change mid-expansion. That's the problem. This is the most exciting thing about Dark Knight. A quality of life. Let's talk about the new abilities.
Okay.
First.
Well, he's like, he isn't even criticizing delirium, and then he just starts going on talking about how he's criticizing the fact that it's part of an expansion. And it's like, wow, okay. So he's not criticizing the ability, he's criticizing the fact that it's being done now.
Just real quick. Salt and Dark. Oh my lord, why is this so thick? Holy shit. Let's talk about Shadowbringer, Assault and Darkness. This ability right here, I think, is just absolute fluff, just garbage, just fluff. It's just the fact that they added on to Salted Earth is ridiculous to me. I feel like Salted Earth should have just been removed from the game, or it should have been merged with Abyssal Drain. Those two GCDs are fluff. Let's look at Abyssal Drain real quick. Okay, Abyssal Drain, you use it once every minute. 150 potency ability. Now, this might change. Once every minute, you get to use this very extremely underwhelming, shitty ability. If you never use this ability, you can still get 99s. The total DPS that this ability has is fucking minuscule on your overall damage. This is like an extra fucking auto attack every minute. This move, in my opinion, should have been combined with Salted Earth. Combine these two. Make these into one ability. Why couldn't you just combine these two and have the effect of this? What if you fired an Abyssal Drain, it put down a puddle, and then when the puddle expired, or I don't know, maybe you could just detonate itself? Doesn't that seem so much better? Doesn't that save on an extra button? Isn't that just all around better? You fire out Abyssal Drain, it puts the puddle, and then you can detonate the puddle, and then it turns back into Abyssal Drain. Doesn't that sound so much better than this fucking garbage right here? I think it does. Now, this is what they should have done, but instead, the fucking developer was like, oh, guys, get this. Salted Earth 2.
You know what? I'll take the chops on that. I'll take the L on the delirium. I'll take the L on the delirium. I'll take the L on the delirium. That is my L. And he's talking about how it's like a quality of life.
And they ate it up. Now, this move right here, Shadowbringer, this move looks cool, and I'm sure it's going to feel cool when you use it. It's going to feel good when you use it. However, they've already had this ability in the game before. It was just called something different, and it looks slightly different. It's almost like they have no fucking clue what they want to do with Dark Knight, so they're just bringing shit back. They're bringing back the Unmin trait, and they're bringing back Dark Passenger. There was an ability called Dark Passenger that basically functioned almost identical to this, except for it didn't have...
True! True. I actually knew it was basically Dark Passenger. I honestly already knew it was that.
2 charges. Although I will say the Dark Passenger was more high skill, high reward, and it was more punishing, and the upside was higher. So it felt better when you use it. This ability right here is just going to be another off GCD that you hit. This move's function is no different than Flood of Shadow, other than you have a choice here, and here you just have a single off GCD with 2 charges. This move isn't bad. It's just another fluff. And it wouldn't be just another fluff if you wouldn't have this shit as well. Abyssal Drain and Salted Earth. So now you have Abyssal Drain, which is fluff, Salted Earth, which is fluff, and now you have Shadowbringer, which is even more fluff, on top of having to min-max your Salted Earth a little bit. It's not that I'm not excited about the ability, man. It's just like, enough is enough. Jesus Christ. So many off GCDs, man. I'm sure people love having more off GCDs, but to me personally, there comes a point in time where there's just too much fluff. There's just too much. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There is gonna be no difference between hitting Edge of Shadow and Shadowbringer as far as the feeling goes. This off GCD is just more useless than this. And the reason why is because this has a purpose. This takes your mana.
Hopefully not button bloated. It's already button bloated at this point. because you're going to be putting down going to put down Salt, and then I'm pretty sure Salt becomes Salt and Darkness, but then you already have Shadowbringer, which is an extra button, right? And I hope there isn't like anything more. And Dark Knight already has a lot of abilities, right? So, and you have Abyssal Drain. And Abyssal Drain, honestly, I agree with what he wants in terms of a change. It should I think that would be kind of cool.
You have to manage your mana. There's a gauge here. You don't manage shit. You just bash this on cooldown, or you save it for a trick attack window. That's literally it. I feel like that they could have been a little more creative or something. I don't know, man. It's just underwhelming. I just feel like having an off GCD for purely having another off GCD, I think is very lazy. Here's the fucked up part about all this. I'm actually looking forward to Dark Knight. Yeah, I am. After all that shit I'm saying, I'm actually looking forward to Dark Knight. I'm looking more forward to Dark Knight than I am Gunbreaker. I think Gunbreaker looks like shit. I think it looks clunky. I think it looks awkward. I am not excited to play it. I'm probably going to level it last. But Dark Knight, it didn't get anything great per se. But I really like this class actually. And the reason why I shit on this class is because I want it to be better, because I know it can be. I am looking forward to Dark Knight because it didn't change that much. I think it's still going to be really good. I just think it's extremely, extremely underwhelming. Like basically Dark Knight is still in Shadowbringers. I think that the excitement for Dark Knight, if you are really looking forward to Dark Knight, which I was, I think that we, the players that are looking forward to seeing the new Dark Knight stuff, were a little disappointed, because I feel like the person in charge of Dark Knight design, I'm going to be honest, I feel like that they don't have any idea what they're doing. I feel like that every single thing that they think is good about Dark Knight, they completely missed the mark. I think that they got extremely lazy, and I think that the changes they made to Dark Knight are very underwhelming. With all that being said, does Dark Knight work now? Absolutely. Dark Knight's fine now. It's viable and it functions. It does have some downsides. I think Dark Knight has more downsides than the other tanks, in the form of Living Dead and Dark Mind mostly. And I don't like TBN being tied to your mana. You know, it works. It can be really good. The thing is it's going to remain the same, right? You know, maybe Dark Knight's going to pump out some serious fucking big dick damage. That'd be cool. The fact
It'll do that in the beginning. It's literally all bursts. Class not getting a whole lot of flashy new tools doesn't mean it's a bad job. It just means they don't know what they really want with it right now. Or they want it to play it in the way it is and don't know exactly what to add. Well, it's not the flashy new tools I think he's really worried about. Because Xenosis, I think he even said it, is like there's so much fluff, right? There can be buttons taken away. There can be things that can be changed. There can be things that can be mixed with one another, right? If all we got was like Shadowbringers and Salt and Darkness, right? Then I think he'd probably be happy about that. But it should get a method of applying Doom to the entire team. Jesus. You want that now, jeez. And I think he said that. He said like that the developer or whoever is supposed to be developing Dark Knight doesn't know what to do with it. I think he said that, right? He said that, right?
forward to seeing the new Dark design, I'm going to be honest. I feel like that they don't have any idea what they're doing. I feel like that every single thing that they think is good about Dark Knight, they completely missed the mark. I think that they got extremely lazy. And
oh, never mind. He went down.
I think that the changes they made to Dark Knight are very underwhelming. With all that being said, does Dark Knight work now? Absolutely. Dark Knight's fine now. It's viable and it functions. It does have some downsides. I think Dark Knight has more downsides than the other tanks, in the form of Living Dead and Dark Mind mostly. And I don't like TBN being tied to your mana.
That I agree with. Like the three things that probably get me. And I know the argument for TBN is the fact that it manages your MP, but TBN in itself is tied to your, it really is, it's tied to your damage, and that can suck if you don't get it, if you don't get 100% of its value, like he said. And Dark Mind does need to change, and Living Dead definitely needs to change because it sucks.
You know, it works. It can be really good. The thing is it's going to remain the same, right? You know, maybe Dark Knight's going to pump out some serious fucking big dick damage. That'd be cool. The fact that this Dark Arts is still in the game is ridiculous.
I was just thinking that.
Most people don't even know what this is. They just want to keep dark arts in the game. Most people don't even know what dark side is because they don't have to know. Do you know why you don't have to actually know what dark arts is? Because all you have to know is that when your TBN shield breaks, you get a free Edge of Shadow. That's it. This is the most desperate attempt to keep an ability in the game. For those of you that don't know, dark arts used to be an ability. It used to be a self buff. You would use dark arts and it would buff certain abilities. So it would buff your Siphon Strike. Imagine if they had a combo potency and then right here, it said dark arts, a dark arts potency, and then it said, I don't know, 350. So that means that when you use dark arts and then you use Siphon Strike, your Siphon Strike is buffed to this potency. That's what dark arts used to be. They just really wanted to keep it in the game. So that's why that it's like this now. There's no purpose for this. You could easily just say you get a free Edge of Shadow. Like you don't need to coin this term as a dark arts proc. It's not necessary.
So far, the only reason why Dark Arts is still in here is to get a free Edge or a free Flood. And a free Edge and a free Flood could be named something else. But I think they've really downscaled the meaning and just like the word Dark Arts for the sake of purpose of keeping it in the game. And I've actually thought about that. Don't worry, I'll write Yoshi P a letter to Doomify Living Dead. I don't think anybody would be able to play Dark Knight anymore if everything they do just results in Doom.
Like I said earlier, whoever is designing Dark Knight and in charge of this shit just has no fucking clue. Dark Arts was fucking horrible. Just let it die. Let Dark Arts use Living Dead and just don't heal it. In the grave. So yeah, I think it definitely—
Wait, what?
Let Dark Arts use Living Dead and—
Let Dark Arts use Living Dead?
And just don't heal it.
And just— What is he saying? Let Dark Arts use Living Dead?
Fucking horrible. Just let it die. Let Dark Arts use Living Dead and just don't heal it.
What? Let Dark Arts use Living Dead and don't heal it. So are you saying like once they use Living Dead, if they have Dark Arts on, right, that acts like an extra life and it's like boom, get all your health back or something like that? Or is that what he's insinuating? Does he go on with this?
In the grave. So yeah, I think it definitely has some issues.
No, he doesn't go on with that. What the hell?
Hopefully they get more quality.
Oh no, he's saying let Dark Arts die. Oh man. I'm thinking on the side of functionality, he's just saying, no, kill off Dark Arts. He just wants it to die. No! No, don't kill it! As in, let it just die from using Living Dead and don't cure Walking Dead. He just wants it to die! Oh my gosh, he's just like, no, let it die. Just let it die. He just wants it to fucking die! Oh man. He's basically just saying, get rid of it. Hey, Britain. Yeah, he wants to get rid of Dark Arts. Oh, okay. I mean,
life. Hopefully, you know,
yeah.
Blood Weapon changes, Dark Mind changes, Living Dead changes, TBN changes. Hopefully Unleash and Unmend and whatever the other one is, Star Wars Soul. Hopefully that shit gets off being spells. Hopefully you get Dark Missionary earlier at level 70. I don't know why you get it at 76.
Dark Missionary needs a change too, to not magic damage, but like maybe there's a no. That'd be kind of op if it was just damage. If Dark Missionary was 10% damage mitigation to the whole entire party. That would be like saying that they have the justification of being like more or less like the healers who have that kind of ability.
When all the other tanks have their shit at 70. I don't know why Dark Knight can't AoE at 70. Dude, Dark Knight's scuffed, man. What the whoever the fuck is in charge of Dark Knight, fire them, hire me. There you go. Easy game. I'll do it for free. You don't have to pay me. Just listen to me. Just listen to me. Every single change I have suggested will make this job a banger of a job. All right, I promise. I guarantee it. Give you the Zemo stamp of approval. I bet my beard on it.
Jesus. Bring Dark Arts back to the way it was before. The reason why they did it that way is because people were complaining about what it was before. I can't wait for the 14 devs to confirm that they like my Doom idea. My god, just kill everybody. Just kill everybody, Lilith. No spammy dark arts was so annoying after every GCD. Just too much. Honestly, if dark arts was just a buff, right? I know dark side is the buff, really? But if dark arts was just a buff for a certain amount of seconds, kind of like how no mercy worked, and like give Dark Knight a base amount of potency, and whenever they threw on dark arts, which would be like a, I don't know, a 60-second cooldown, they get buffed for 20 seconds, just so it's not broken, and that you have a window to do like your delirium combo or something. There's people who had problems with the button, Yui. There was people who were just like, I don't want to press the button, and Yoshi P actually echoed that. He said people didn't want to press the button no more. Sage is getting dark arts. You're right. You're right. Dark arts as a cooldown would be fine, but not as every OGCD. I would say because the reason why Flood and Edge is in the game is because they applied Dark Side, which buffs you up anyway, because that's your buff, right? And that's fine. But if they don't want it, like, honestly, at this point, they probably should get rid of dark arts. They probably should just get rid of dark arts, because unless there is a logistical way of keeping them in without it just being like, oh, it's a free Flutter Edge, then, like, you know, we really don't need it. You could just have an ability that gives free Flutter Edge. I mean, just like a buff that comes with the, you know, we already got that from the Blackest Night. Like, old Dark Arts was technically better, but it was very spammy and people didn't like it. Removal of Dark Arts button was a good thing. Yeah, a lot of people, again, hated the Dark Arts button. They hated it, bro. They hated the fucking Dark Arts button. When you put on the Dark Arts button, right? When you put on Dark Arts, it was just like, every time you got to go ahead and do a GCD, Dark Arts. Every time you got to, because it has a different ability once you use Dark Arts. So they got rid of it. They got rid of it, and they made it just a base. Oh, just keep it up. Yeah, potency. That's it. He also talks about the Gunbreaker, and I don't dare wait. Here it is. He talks about the Gunbreaker.
People seem to forget that you can love something and still criticize it. Like, you criticize the things that you love because you want them to be the best. You want them to improve as much as you can. And this right here is not something that they improved on. They just made it worse. They just made it more.
What's the Dark Arts button? So, to TLDR it for you, Britain. Say it's basically just, I guess you could say it's a charge button. So it was just a standoff button that a Dark Knight would use in Heavensward to charge up one single GCD. One single GCD. And I can actually show you what I mean by that. It charged up one single GCD. Just one single GCD. So Here's what Dark Art, like, figure, because basically Flood and Edge are the Dark Arts button right here. So think, I'm going to use Edge right here. I'm going to use Edge. This is Edge. Now this is Dark Arts. So I hit once. Oh, but you throw on Dark Arts, right? Now your Siphon Strike has a different ability. It used to just do 210 potency. but now it does 250 or 260 or 270 or even 300, and it gives you even more MP. Or if it didn't have MP, the MP steal ability already, now it had the MP steal, and that sucked. A lot of people didn't do it. And then you use it again, right? And here's Soul Eater, right? Soul Eater has 400 potency and it steals HP, right? But figure that 400 combo potency turns into 500, and that cure potency, right? That wasn't there before Dark Arts. So now you got Dark Arts on, and now it does the steal, but it only does that once. It only does it once. So every time you want to do the ability that these two buttons have, you would have to throw in another edge, right? And you would have to start hitting, right? You get that Siphon Strike. Oh, but you want that Soul Steal, that Soul Eater ability again. You have to throw on another Dark Arts, and you just got to keep going. People didn't like that. People didn't want to just keep like spamming the button all the time. You missed Darkside. People didn't want to like spam Dark Arts all the time, so they just got rid of it. Bro. There we go. I hate it when it does that. It self-clicks on the game. I must be a rare breed then. I actually like Dark Arts. Maybe you liked being busy. I don't know. I didn't mind it too much, really, when they took away the Dark Arts button. It was like something out of the norm, but I was okay with it. It's just busy work. Yeah, it was busy work, basically. Busy for busy sakes.
Clunky for no reason.
It's better, in your opinion, to look at Rin Karagani's Gunbreaker video? Huh. Okay. I don't know who that is. We'll figure that out. You said Rin? Oh, well, I don't want to see Rin death. I definitely didn't want to see Rin death. That was 2 weeks ago, the Media Tour deep dive. Oh my god, I don't know if I could even pay attention to this.
Hey everybody, I recently had the opportunity to attend the Endwalker Media Tour, and I finally get to share my thoughts with you. But before we begin, I wanted—
Ren is just Xenosis Light. Really? Is that what we're gonna call Ren? What about Larry Zer's video on the Gunbreaker? He has a very small, very polite approach to it. Ren and Xenosis goes deep. They go deep into it. Let's look at this one first, because this one's only 18 minutes, and I'll just skip it a little bit because
CD to every fucking goddamn ability.
Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's get some good vibes in here. So yeah, let's go to Ren, because I don't think they cuss up a storm.
I wanted to take a moment to thank all of the first responders and medical personnel around the world that have been working so hard to fight COVID-19. Without your efforts, we would not be in the place that we are today, and we would not be in a position to continue fighting against this pandemic. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I think I speak for everybody when I say that your bravery, your courage, and your determination—
I'm also one of those medical emergency providers who sit in the data, but you know, let's not talk about COVID, bro. let's talk about happy things. I'm sorry. I deal with COVID every single day, okay? I think I deserve to not hear COVID, at least on the weekends. Just let me have this. Let me have this.
Let's get into Gunbreaker. Now I want to make a special note.
Yes, I work in the medical field, so yeah, I have to deal with it every single day.
Note that the preview build we got to play on is still—
Wait, should we be seeing this? This is a whole entire— Is he in Charlian? He's in Oh my god.
in development, and anything you see is subject to significant changes and may not even appear in the final version of the game. And
Okay.
while I will be discussing potencies, I do not want that to be a focus at all. Anything that you learn from this video is going to assist you with rotation, and barring a few niche situations, potency changes in the final version of the game should not change how we think about approaching Gunbreaker as we head into the Endwalker expansion and double down on our favorite job. The very first thing we're going to take a look at is our combo. If you pay attention closely here, you're going to notice that we do not drop our combo for 30 seconds.
He does have timestamps. New combo, new stuff, changes.
Whether this was an intended decision or not is yet to be determined.
I see the timestamps. I see it. I see it, guys. I see the timestamps. But I understand. I understand. But there's the intro also had the whole warning of, hey, this has a subject to change, right? It has a subject to change. Always gotta always remember. I have to always remember it's a subject to change kind of situation. That warning should always be heard.
But if this is the
But
case,
thank you.
then woo, does this change the way we're going to think about things? Suddenly, certain rotations that we didn't think were possible become reality. And how cool is that? This is particularly useful for Gunbreaker when we have our Bloodfest No Mercy window with our new rotation. While it does make me wonder what kind of disengagement mechanics we're going to see in the future, it does give me a sense of ease. I believe we're going to see far fewer players dropping a combo now, and while they may be clipping and not pressing things when they're readily available, we're going to see less punishment as players are learning, and I think that's a great thing. Let's talk about the new stuff. First up, we have Double Down, our new 2 ammo cartridge spender. This is a massive AoE on a 1-minute cooldown that hits for 1200 potency to the first enemy and 80% for all remaining enemies. Keep in mind that these potencies are subject to significant change. However, this should not change how we use it in our rotation. Next up is our newest continuation OGCD, Hyper Velocity. Continuation is an OGCD button after a certain GCD. In this case, Hyper Velocity is comboed off of Burst Strike.
So the one worry I have with the Hyper Velocity, because it's a continuation. It's a continuation off of Burst Strike, is that the No Mercy window, which doesn't seem to have changed in terms of like how long it is. Let me double check. Because that right there is like a worry for me. Let me check No Mercy. No Mercy is still 20 seconds. It's still 20 seconds. I think the No Mercy window is going to change, and there are going to be some things going to be left out of it. I'm just saying.
Now remember, if you don't use your continuation before your next GCD, you actually lose the proc. So you'll always be using this after you proc it, which means you may have to plan ahead, as you'll have one less OGCD slot at this time. Speaking of OGCDs, let's talk about Heart of Corundum. This thing is a full course meal of mitigation.
Yep.
It does everything you want and more. Okay, well, not everything. Let's break it down. HOC is your upgraded Heart of Stone that you acquire at level 82. This provides 15% mitigation for 8 seconds, as it always has, while also granting the Brutal Shell buff if you use it on a party member while you have the buff up. In addition to that, we got a few other goodies, like Clarity of Corundum. Clarity of Corundum adds an additional 15% mitigation for the first 4 seconds of the buff being up, which is huge, by the way. But we're not done yet. That's right, we also get Catharsis of Corundum. This works like a Scholar's Excog, where it heals you if you fall below 50% of your HP, or when the buff falls off.
That's a really good move, by the way. Heart of Corundum is really good. It is really good. I cannot fathom how good this is going to be in Savage.
Now, the tooltip states that it lasts for 10 seconds, but while I used it in the media tour, it lasted for 30 seconds on my buff bar. This leads me to believe that it could be either of those options, and it's possible that the duration is something else entirely
30 seconds, holy crap!
Upon official release. We'll just have to wait and see.
Why doesn't Dark Knight have that? Because they have TBN. Apparently TBN is still, it's still like God tier, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But like, they get defense on top, like 15% for 4 seconds, right? 50% for 4 seconds, then it goes down to 15 seconds with Brutal Shell on top of that, which they also get a restoration of their health if their HP falls under 50%, which is actually pretty good. But yeah, I think TBN, I think they think it's okay, you know, it's all right.
Next, let's go over what's gone up, what's gone down, and
Wait, not to my recent memory of living.
what stayed the same. Keen Edge is the first part of our filler combo, and while most attacks have gone down in potency in line with melee changes, Keen Edge is the only one to have gone up. Brutal Shell received a 10% decrease in damage, while the heal and shield remained the same. The finisher for our filler combo, Solid Barrel, received an 18% decrease in damage, and still generates a cartridge.
I'm seeing, I mean, I see the decrease in potency, and I know this is because Endwalker is going to have different potency calculations. That still just stings a little bit. Just, ugh.
Once again, keep in mind that all of these potencies are
That just gives me a free dark edge and flood. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. There is a problem, obviously, for the Blackest Night. TBN is tied to your damage. TBN also needs to have 100% output of its ability, which means that every single other tank has something that is, you know, slightly better in terms of functionality.
subject to change. Our ammo spender, Burst Strike, received a 20% decrease in damage, but now grants Ready to Blast. Ready to Blast allows you to use Hyper Velocity, which is your 200 potency continuation that we talked about earlier. So while Burst Strike received a
Yeah, I see the small numbers. I see it. I think the potency and just like how it works in the damage calculator or calculation, sorry, that's something that we're going to have to experience when we get to Endwalker. So I don't know. I mean, seeing the numbers as it is and it's decreasing in potency, it stings, but they're okay.
20% decrease in damage. If you add Hyper Velocity to it, it actually
Like, the only thing that I would be upset about is if if tanks started doing less damage than healers, then I would be upset. I was told to use it, then plunge, then unleash, plus stalwart for starting a fight. Does that mean I'm doing Dark Knight wrong? Well, okay, you wouldn't use like, if you're using it in a regular fight, you can use plunge. You can use plunge. It's told to use it. When you talking about use it, recent living. So you would use plunge. You could use unleash if you want to, and stalwart if you want to, especially in a dungeon. I want to see 1 mil on my screen. I'm sorry to tell you this, Excalibur Jones, but we're never reaching 1 million unless it's done on you.
received
Dungeon pulls? Then yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
20% buff. We'll discuss my thoughts on Burst Strike and the addition of continuation a little bit later. Gnashing Fang and its continuation.
You can also, in that case, you can also use Unmend. They will come to you. Then you can use Unleash Stalwart. It works both ways. Plunge just gets you to the enemy faster, and it works. So either or.
Continuation combo Jugular.
Lilith, stop asking for Doom!
20% and 31% respectively.
Doom killed us all!
540 potency.
It killed us all, Lilith!
Since Burst Strike and Hyper Velocity are a total of 600 potency, while you still prioritize Gnashing Fang over Burst Strike if you only have one cartridge, if you have to prioritize...
Are they dropping the potency for Gunbreaker because of the damage it does? I'm just asking that question.
Prioritize one in raid buffs, you would choose Burst Strike with Hyper Velocity, although ideally you get everything in buffs. Savage Claw and Abdomen Tear.
You can hit for multiple mil in Zadnor. I have never hit for any kind of mil in Zadnor, but if you did it, Senior Derp Face, good for you, man. Don't forget to screenshot that shit and send it to my Discord so I can be like, oh man.
have received a 20% and 21% damage reduction, respectively.
Damage pool. The Blackest Night. Okay, so let me be 100% with you, Illidari. The Blackest Night works so much better when it goes 100% through. If you only use it as a mitigation tool to not take much damage and it does not break, you have effectively wasted MP on the Blackest Night. You want it to always break. And the problem with the Blackest Night is that that's what you have to do to get 100% of it, because if you use it just as a barrier to mitigate damage and it doesn't break, you wasted MP, you wasted damage. And the fact that it's tied to your damage kind of sucks. That's the thing about TBN. It's incredibly situational. Like you really need to know that your barrier is going to break.
Claw is that it now shares a keybind with Gnashing Fang, reducing hotbar bloat and operating much like PvP combos function.
Yeah, continuation is going to be one button, right? Like, or everything involving that is going to be one button.
Just like Savage Claw, Wicked Talon is also on the Gnashing Fang
1v1 buff.
Wicked Talon
should
and
reach a million
have
somehow.
A 20% and 13% damage reduction, meaning the start of our Gnashing combo has received a larger reduction in potency, while the end of our combo has received a less staggering reduction. And that wraps up all of our weapon skills that are tied to continuation. Sonic Break had its potency reduced by 25%. Its initial damage is...
I want to also point out that Dark Knight and Warrior, I don't think has dots anymore. And if you say the Living Shadow was a dot, well, I guess then Living Shadow is technically a dot. But I don't think Warrior has a dot. And Paladin has 2 dots. Has 2 dots, gouging and circle. And Gunbreaker has 2 dots. Why are we taking dots away from other tanks, man?
Still 300 potency, while its damage over time has been reduced from 90 potency to 60 potency per tick for 30 seconds. This makes Sonic Break the second best
Warriors
GC
don't have
unit
dots?
you can use,
Shit.
leaving Double Down as your strongest.
Oh, I see why people love this guy. He's very creative with what he puts on the... I see he's into cat girls. Okay. Yep, this would be... He is a friend to all.
You know what? Lightning Shot.
Warrior never had a dot. Warrior never had a dot. Really? Warrior never had a dot. I thought they did. Didn't they have a dot? Warriors had a dot. I thought they did. Because Dark Knights used to have a dot too. And that got taken away. Yeah, Fracture! That's what it was called. It was called Fracture. Yeah. I was like, I know they had a dot back in the day.
Dot stayed the same, except of course for the fact that it no longer breaks combo, which is pretty sweet.
He's
and since in the
Crunk
Media
and
Tour
Bob
build,
Ross.
it did look like our combo doesn't break for 30
My
seconds.
God.
It makes you wonder if we're going to get a lot of mechanics in Endwalker through the various encounters that cause us to have to disengage frequently, or for extended periods of time. Wouldn't
I had a lapse of memory there for Fracture. I was like, no, they definitely had a dot. I'm like, what?
that be something?
You almost got me there, Jones.
Well, friends, it looks like our
Testing me.
AoE combo has been sliced and slaughtered, receiving a larger potency cut than the other abilities we have in our kit. Demon Slice has received a 33% reduction in damage.
I think they're really they're double downing on the fact that tanks should just stay as, aggressive meat shields, basically. Their potency seems to be just like...
From 150 potency down to 100. Demon Slaughter has received a 36% decrease in damage, coming from 250 potency
That
to 160
is a lot of
potency.
armored people!
We'll likely still be using the Demon Slaughter
And it's
combo to generate
hilarious to look
cartridges
at!
in 2 targets
Is
or
he
more,
okay in there?
since the GCD to cartridge ratio
he
is too
threw
good
on
to pass up.
conundrum or corundum.
Fated
That's a
Circle
conundrum.
received a 9%
Jesus.
nerf, and while this may not seem like much, if potencies do not change, then we'll now use Burst Strike and Hypervelocity instead of Fated Circle against 2 enemies.
What the fuck? What? Hold on!
Since the GCD to cartridge ratio is too good to pass up. Fated Circle received a 9% nerf, and while this may not seem like much, if potencies do not change, then we'll now use Burst Strike and Hypervelocity instead of Fated Circle against 2 enemies. Fated Circle would either need to be bumped up to 300 potency to equal Burst Strike and Hypervelocity, or be stronger than that to beat Burst Strike and Hypervelocity.
Ow!
Bow Shock has also had its damage reduced by 31%. The initial potency went from 200 on application to 150, while its damage over time went from 90 potency per tick for 15 seconds to 60 potency per tick for 15 seconds. For a grand total,
they're really lowering the fucking bar with these potencies. Jesus Christ.
Of 650 potency in Shadowbringers to 450 potency in the Endwalker Media Tour build. Blasting Zone has had a damage reduction of 25%, leaving it at 600 potency in the Endwalker Media Tour build compared to the 800 potency on the live servers in Shadowbringers.
Why?
This is still a great OGCD, and you should be using it on cooldown. Every other use will be inside of your No Mercy, as expected.
Yes.
Rough Divide. This is our gap closer. The damage of Rough Divide was reduced by 25%, but the range was increased.
I'm gonna just say that Rough Divide looks nothing like the Rough Divide that I've seen in Final Fantasy VIII in Dissidia. They should take that Rough Divide and put it into the game. If you guys want to see what that Rough Divide looks like,
to 20 Yoms, leaving it on par with all of the other gap closers now. The warrior gets a 3rd charge.
What? They get a 3rd charge!
It on par with all of the other gap closers now. The warrior gets a 3rd charge.
Why'd you tell me this?
Bloodfest got a 3rd charge. Now we can hold even more ammos to rip and tear. You'll still be using Bloodfest on cooldown, which means that every other use will be inside of No Mercy. Though it may take a little while to get used to having 3 cartridges.
Yeah, see, that... No, I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic. Obviously, I would go angry on that. Oh, no, I'm being sarcastic. I'm sorry. I'm not always serious. This is the No Mercy window. Its rotation is definitely going to change because of the 3rd cartridge. It's definitely going to change.
I know I fumbled a little bit, thinking, oh no, I'm going.
See? that was sarcasm. I know. I just, all right. Let's stay focused. No Mercy. That's going to change a bit. The window and the rotations. You're definitely going to be using Burst Strike within that rotation and the continuation in it, which means that something's going to have to give. I think something's going to have to give.
Going to overcap when I was sitting at 2 at the Media Tour build, but we'll get used to it. No Mercy has been unaffected. It is still a 1-minute steroid that increases your damage by 20% for 20 seconds. After we conclude going over...
See, now that's what I'm worried about, the fact that it's still 20 seconds. I think No Mercy should be bumped up to like 25, in my opinion, because of like the extra bloat that we're going to get as a Gunbreaker.
The skills, you'll get to see the rotation in action, and you'll get to see how cool the 3-minute Bloodfest No Mercy window is. Royal Guard is our tank stance. Turn it on when you want to tank, and turn it off when you don't.
Yeah, I mean, if the selection process of what we're going to use in our rotation is going to differ because of the No Mercy still being at 20%, yeah, there's going to be a change.
Camouflage is also unaffected. It's still a 10% reduction for 20 seconds, while increasing your parry rate by 50% through the duration on a 1.5-minute cooldown. Nebula is our big damage reduction. 15 seconds of 30% mitigation on a 2-minute recast. Although, the new Heart of Corundum, which offers about 28% mitigation plus a shield if you have Brutal Shell, is a big contender. And when you use them together, Heart of Light has been
when you use them together, you ain't losing damage.
Completely unaffected, and still grants 10% magic mitigation to the party for 15 seconds on a 1.5-minute cooldown. Aurora still grants a regen to the target of your choosing, and it heals for the same amount that it healed for in Shadowbringers. However, now you have 2 charges.
Yay! Which means that they can keep themselves alive a hell of a lot better. Certainly better than the Dark Knight right now.
This is super cool. You can give yourself a regen and your co-tank if you have to share tank busters, or simply give it to 2 targets.
Oh, please don't say that the Dark Knight has to like rely on other tanks. Don't say this to me.
Maybe somebody's out of range. Maybe 2 people are out of range. Maybe your healers are recovering and you're trying to get people healthy for an incoming raid wide. Well, now you have more options. And I think that's super cool, to give tanks an additional way to recover a pull. So this is something cool. All of the tank invulns now last for 10 seconds.
Wait, hold on. Oh no, that's... Are you kidding? Are you kidding? All right, okay. So is that Rin? I think that might be Rin. I'm not too sure. Let me check. That might be Rin. The reason why I'm a little
So
okay. So it is Rin. Okay. They were having a chat.
While their recast timers stayed the same. Now I am curious, since all of the tank invulns will be 10 seconds, it kind of makes you wonder what we could expect going into the next raid tier. Will we see multi-hit tank busters that are forced to use the full duration? If you remember in Eden's Gate, Warrior was the only tank that could not mitigate through all of Titan's tank busters at first, and they actually buffed the duration on home gang. But now, since everything is going to be 10 seconds, it kind of makes you wonder. And with that, that's every action taken care of. I had the opportunity to sit down with Lamatod and hit a training dummy for a few minutes while getting to see how things lined up with Trick Attack with our new kit. Let's take a
Wait, what? How is it that Rin is at 5k subs? What? That's not right. Rin, you should have a lot more subs
look
than me.
at the tentative Gunbreaker rotation for Endwalker.
You should have a lot more subs than me!
So you'll see I began with the Lightning Shot opener, into Keen Edge, Brutal Shell, Solid Barrel.
Streamers have it rough
You would
here.
potion at this time as you go into Keen Edge, No Mercy. Here, we open up our Gnashing Fang as you would expect, Bloodfest, put up our dot with our OGCDs,
Yep.
into our new Double Down, get
Hold
a
on.
Rough Divide on cooldown.
Hold on, wait.
As we finish,
Hold on.
our
Is this his new rotation? Is this the new rotation?
Breaker rotation.
It's more on Twitch more? Oh, okay.
So you'll see I began with the Lightning Shot opener,
Mm-hmm.
into Keen Edge,
Mm-hmm.
Brutal Shell, Solid Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
You would potion at this time as you go into Keen Edge, No Mercy.
Yep.
Here, we open up our Gnashing Fang as you would expect, Bloodfest, put up our dot.
Excuse me, what did you just
Here,
do?
we open up our Gnashing Fang as you would
Okay.
expect.
Oh, he spent it on the cartridge. Okay, that makes sense because that... Is that up? Yeah, no, that's definitely optimal. Yeah, that's very optimal.
Bloodfest, put up our dot with our OGCDs, into our new Double Down, get a Rough Divide on cooldown. As we
Wait,
finish
could he
these
not do
into our
anything?
new
Okay, he did double down. No OGCD? You're not gonna use your Rough Divide? You have a Rough Divide there. Could use it.
Get a Rough Divide on cooldown.
Oh, he's doing it on cooldown?
As we finish our Gnashing Fang combo.
Oh, well, he couldn't do it because animation lock. Okay, I see. I was looking at it, so you can't cancel the animation for
Bloodfest,
double down.
Put up our dot with our OGCDs, into our new Double Down.
It seems that, yep, he
Get
can't. Oh, he is animated. He's animation locked in it. Okay, I see it.
Rough Divide on cooldown. As we finish our Gnashing Fang combo, and then get a Burst Strike combo as well, without fear of breaking our combo, due to the new rules of it not breaking for 30 seconds. From there, we iron everything out. Now keep in mind, while I'm doing this rotation,
Huh. That's interesting rotation.
We were on a media tour test build with gear that was allocated to us, and as such, my skill speed was not optimal for what I would want to do with Gunbreaker. We were playing at a 2.46 GCD, and I really would have enjoyed to play at 2.41 or 2.4. Now this is where I really had to think, because in my mind,
giving yourself a break,
I was
Lilith. Oh my god.
overcapping. And I had to
The fact that you have over 9 million is
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Hey, don't overcap. As we head right back into our No Mercy with 3 cartridges, we get our Gnashing, our Double Down, puts us back at 0. Sonic Break goes out, Blasting Zone, Bow Shock, our Rough Divides, everything you need.
You know what I'm noticing is that he's not...
And if your skill speed's appropriate, you will hit this Burst Strike,
it's the skill speed. Okay.
probably your Hyper Velocity as well. However, due to my slow skill speed, that was not possible.
3 more weeks of grinding.
You're going to have a Gnashing Fang come up with your Bloodfest. That's perfectly fine. You're going to use this Bloodfest. Do not hold it for the next No Mercy. As you go through 3 cartridges, you can expend them as you see fit. And we just start building up
Sorry about that.
and staying close to cap.
You
as
saw
we
my
prepare
wallpaper,
for our
guys. I'm
next No
sorry.
Mercy. I will say, getting to play Gunbreaker at level 90 felt like riding a bike. If you are
Alright,
very
Lilith,
intimate with the
you
level
have
80
some good
rotation,
one.
I feel this will be an easy transition. It's very intuitive, and it feels more like a quality of life change than anything else. They gave us an extra cartridge, but also something to use it on. Double Down is an amazing button to add into our kit, as they did nerf Sonic Break a little bit, and the rest of our kit saw decreases across the board. But Double Down is that big hitter that you're really going to want in every single No Mercy window. So if you know that it's not in your No Mercy, you've probably done something critically incorrect, or a downtime phase has crippled your ability to keep your rotation flowing. Now this is our sweet window coming up. If you look in about 20 seconds, we're going to have our Bloodfest No Mercy window, and this is where we're going to have a lot of fun. So here, we're getting ready. We're building up on our 3rd cartridge, and if you look, it's perfectly timed. Now, if we had a 2.41 GCD, we would get that Brutal Shell first, but that doesn't matter, because we hit a Gnashing. We hit a Burst Strike. We hit a Burst Strike and a Bloodfest. We hit a Double Down. We hit a Sonic Break. We hit a Savage Claw. We hit a Wicked Talon. And then we did a Brutal Shell, but we should not have. Do you know why? Because what we should have done there was a Burst Strike. Every single GCD in that window can be a Burst Strike.
So you can
In my mind, I believe
Burst
I was
Strike.
attempting to adhere to only using X amount of GCDs before breaking combo, forgetting that I could just do the Burst Strike. Later on, I do have a rotation where I show the Bloodfest No Mercy window.
So the mere fact that the Burst Strike window is within the range of the continuation of like your regular continuation. Wow, okay. Cause wait. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold everything. Hold on. Does that not break combo? So he's saying that it doesn't. That's different.
Can be a Burst Strike. We hit a Sonic Break. We hit a Savage Claw. We hit a Wicked Talon. And then we did a Brutal Shell, but we should not have. Do you know why? Because what we should have done there was a Burst Strike. Every single GCD in that window can be a Burst Strike.
Oh.
In my mind, I believe I was attempting to adhere to only using X amount of GCDs before breaking combo, forgetting that I could just do the Burst Strike.
That's kind of nuts. I have to say, that's kind of nuts. All right, this is going on a little long. All right, let's check out Zenosis. All right, prepare for cussing.
Why is Double Down a GCD? Why does it take 2 cartridges? Because it's called Double Down, Strummer. Okay, call it Crossfire. Call it literally anything else. Call it X-Strike, Crossfire, whatever. Don't call it that then. The fact that hypervelocity exists makes the job clunky for no reason. Let's talk about this shitty ability. Continuation. I understand people like it. I understand it's fun. But here's the problem with continuation. This is not busy. You know what this is? This is restrictive.
Now, the fact that you can use Burst Strike and then a continuation in that's
There is a difference.
So, because like honestly, you can use like Talon, Gnashing, and you would use your continuation, but you would have to use your Burst Strike in between all that, and it won't break the combo. Would it not?
Busy means like Dark Knight with Edge of Shadow, Shadowbringer, Abyssal Drain, Salted Earth. That's busy. Restrictive means that you are forced into using this, and this inhibits you from using defensive cooldowns and other things. The fact that there is a tank that has off GCDs that purposely are restrictive for no reason is really fucking annoying and bad design in my opinion. The one good thing about Burst Strike currently is that there is no continuation. However, you're going to be ready to blast in Endwalker. Continuation is worse than Dark Arts because at least Dark Arts.
Wait. He said continuation is worse than Dark Arts. That might be a jeez. But yeah, Ready to Blast sets up the ability. Okay, so then it's not really a is it? No, it is. It's a continuation button.
Arts wasn't forced, it was just busy. This is restrictive and forced. Continuation is just shit. You're a fucking tank. You need to use your defensives. Right now, you can Burst Strike and then double weave defensives. But in Endwalker, you're not going to be able to do that anymore.
Wait.
Now you have to blast.
But when are you Burst Striking and double weaving into maybe it's situational? Okay, I mean, let's hear him out.
It or lose it, baby. So this is bad. I don't like this at all. Another thing I do not like is Double Down. This is the most filler bullshit I'm pretty sure I've ever seen. There's no fucking reason why this should be a GCD and should take 2 cartridges. Because this is a GCD and takes 2 cartridges, it fucks everything up. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Currently, this is the No Mercy Bloodfest rotation I have.
He doesn't actually know how the job is going to play or even how it played at the media tour. Yeah, he's only going off of like, you know, what's going on in terms of the tooltips. What sucks about this is that, and I'm not trying to shit on Zenosis, but look at that. Look, what did he create there? Is that what sucks about this is that he's already making guesses before he's actually trying to get his hands on it. And you know what's funny is that even though he is like this, Yoshi P should have invited him in. I think they should have invited him in. Ren showed an actual rotation, and we could even see chances to potentially weave in abilities. The thing is that he showed us that Gunbreaker for sure. Like it definitely has the quality of life in there, and that the fact that you could use a Burst Strike in between your Gnashing, your Talons, right? The fact that you can do that, yeah. Gunbreaker might have gotten out easy on that one.
So.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to say this right now. We are watching Kinda Funny Games. No, I'm saying it's Gaming Kinda. Sorry. It's Gaming Kinda. And they're talking about the Dark Knight. Did it get better? I want to know.
What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about Gunbreaker?
No, let's talk about Dark Knight. That's the most popular one.
Let's talk about Dark Knight.
I think Dark Knight's best to start with, actually, unironically, because it got kind of the least, right?
It did. I think it's the bottom of... If I had to rank them, I think they all improved. I think it's the least improved. I think Paladin and Gunbreaker feel a lot different, and Warrior just... Congratulations,
you know
Warrior.
The Blackest Night has been kind of overhyped for a very long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with some of our other tools we're getting, I think we're going to see a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
So, the Shadowbringer's ability feels like the new shiny toy, and like the name and the name there, of course, feels like, I don't know, like taking something for the road.
I'm gonna step out for this video. I just like Chris and Ren. Oh my god, you hate Ren? Jesus.
Because we're not going back to
Warrior
the
of
first.
Light's changing their job, right? We're changing our job, so of course Dark Knight's like, let me just... You remember that time that you let me...
Yeah. It's nice.
Open up the darkness? I guess canonically it's going to make sense because we did bring nighttime back, right? So we learned that, and we're past that expansion now. You get it at 90.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And I'm very... Okay, here's the cool thing. It's not... So did you notice something about our new abilities?
So
none of them state that they're a job quest.
So we don't have...
Right?
Well, I assume we're going... So we're going role quests again.
Heavy dislike Chris, but Ren is alright. What is with the dislike on Chris? What's going on here? Alright, intervention time. What's going on, chat? What's going on, chat? What is going on, chat? What's happening here? What's happening here? We're having an intervention right now. We're having one right now, guys. You and me sitting down. Oh my god, my screen blinked. All right, sit down and talk to Papa Sink. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, Jesus. You guys have some, you know, some opinions. Let's deflate the room right now, you know? Let's deflate the room. Their content, Chris content is a bit Kingdom Hearts fan-like. Oh, Jesus, what? Kingdom Hearts fans-like? You mean, is he like on the spectrum on the Kingdom Hearts fans, like he's too hyped? Or is he on the spectrum of that he just hates everything that isn't what he likes? Which one? Which one? I believe it was the video he did on Quasi. What did he do? I don't think I've seen that video. Haven't watched him enough to like or dislike them. Okay, well, yeah, you know. Chris has some heavy opinions that don't mesh with me, and Ren is just boring. Damn! Oh, ow! You never know. I might actually meet Ren. You never know, man. He's actually maybe because you did say that like his voice didn't vibe with you, but you know I understand. But like Derb said, he baits too hard and talks too much to fill time. I have nothing against Brian or Chris. I like both of them. Chris is on the, I would say he's more in the like the investigative side. I know Brian and Chris both have their takes, but I'm always willing to listen to what they say. Them together, Brian and Chris, sometimes they do go into a conversation pretty hard. They're that passionate, I guess you could say. Chris is just, ugh. Some people really don't like that he had a bad video on Quasi because he was really opinionated on the wrong thing. He's a decent guy. Brian is fine. They are the community doormats, like it or not, though. They are the community doormats. Mr. Happy's the face. You say a work to game are the doormats. I guess I'm like the vase that people don't see in the corner of the living room, and that it has that vase has, like, you know, it has some beauty to it, but nobody really notices it because it's just shoved off in the corner. Like, figure all the Final Fantasy tubers in one house, right, as objects and things. You got I would say Zepla is like, she's like the best sister, right? She's the best sister. The best sister. I wouldn't say mom. Zepla is not mom. I would say she's the sister. I would say Mr. Happy is the boring dad. Some people didn't like that Chris was defending WoW too much when it was inappropriate. Since a lot, he hasn't been taking the same stance. Hey, maybe that Brian needs to stop defending New World, but beyond that, his content is generally non-egregious. He likes New World. In fact, Brian invited me. Like he said, he said if I start New World, he'll come and snag me. I haven't started New World because there are a lot of things going on with New World right now that I am not trying to have those problems with. Why does my I'm gonna have to shut that down. The video card is going nuts. Why is it doing that? Okay, let me see. Oh, because it's on full. Let me do this then. It's gonna frame rate drop, but at least the window won't go crazy. That vase that one day falls over Mr. Happy's head. Jesus! I find more of a problem they covered for Anthem's opinion. Our opinions that, but I don't know what their opinion is for Anthem. Yeah, look. See, now the game's fine, but now there's a frame rate drop. I hate that. A lot of reasons, to be honest, why either of them might be disliked at this point. They have a significant history in a lot of channels on YouTube, and you know, that's actually kind of typical for a lot of YouTube channels. I like them as people, but sometimes mives get ahead of their minds and they say things they regret, or they trigger some people. They've never triggered me, I can tell you that. I will say I still have respect for both of them. I mean, Brian did invite me on a podcast, which I have to do better next time. And the fact that they can get pretty high up there people. Like, I haven't seen Zepla on their channel yet. I would like to. I think they even got Larry on there. They got Larry. They got Ren. Who else did they get? They've got notable people. They have gotten notable people. You are the butler that keeps all the housemates in line. The one who is not afraid to give him a good smack when they are in the wrong. Give me too much credit. That's why I said I was the vase. I was the vase that nobody noticed. Happens everyone though. Sometimes a person's mouth gets ahead of their mind. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely correct. I say, no matter how much Xenosis Vex complains, how much Ren explains everything about the Gunbreaker that we won't know until the game is live. I think that's like the moral of the story here. We don't know everything. We don't know what it's all going to be like until Endwalker comes out. And that's what I'm going to be waiting for. I want Endwalker to come out as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Give me a second because I need to get... Actually, let's go to AFK mode. Actually, I don't think I have AFK mode open. Oh, shoot, I don't have AFK mode open. Alright, give me a second. I'm trying to get the countdown timer on screen. Let's put that away. There we go. That's how much time we have left, guys. I was about to say, what happened to your counter? Yeah, there's the counter. I didn't have the window open. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm still kind of sad that from what it looks like, overall, universally, I don't know. I don't have the word for it. Call me an idiot, but I don't like the fact that Dark Knights don't have as good of a sustain. And yeah, TBN's going to be challenged, as they said. I will agree to that. TBN is going to be very challenged. And I do know it is overhyped, quote unquote. It was still and as of right now, it's still like the best cooldown in terms of like a shield or a single purpose defensive ability. It's still kind of the best there, especially for a tank. But for what I can tell, they are being contended, and it seems to me that by the time we get to the end of Endwalker, the test of time is going to show up for all the tanks, and we're going to see just how everything goes. How do you keep the chat in the window in your stream? I used to have that, but keep the chat in the window. So in the setting, let me just go to the chat setting. Where is it? Chat box. So in the chat box, I'm using OBS, and I'm using the theme boxed, and the box has default background. Honestly, that's it. That's all that is. And again, I'm using OBS. I'm using OBS Studio, actually. Dilla butt. But I think that's all we're going to be talking about today. We're looking at 7 o'clock. Yeah, we're looking at 7 o'clock. Well, we have 18 days, 9 hours, 47 minutes, and just about 40 seconds left till Endwalker comes out. I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I am going to be streaming for those 18 days until Endwalker comes out. And when Endwalker does come out, best know I'm going to be up and awake when the download is finished. I will be there. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. You have a good night. Remember, everything is subject to change, and we'll see what happens when we get into Endwalker. Thank you guys very much, and I will... I guess I'll just go cry in the corner, because... Dark Knight, no... Gonna be off the face of the internet. Yeah, I'm just gonna just drop off the face of the earth at this point until the game comes out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope they get sustained. I hope Dark Knights get better sustained. They kind of have to if they are to survive. All right.